How am I a part of this? You'll see. All right, what's going on? Let me turn that down. What is up, guys? What is up? Here we go. It's time. How come I need to be a part of this? You'll see. If you liked this movie, please do not lie. May justice and your review ensure you don't die. What's up, everybody? What's up, Twitch? What's up? What's up, YouTube? One of those rare occasions it's time to do a stream on YouTube. Ready to talk about this mediocre movie? God damn. Meanwhile, Champas, ready to talk about this masterpiece of a movie. Ooh, interesting. In probably what will be the most split decision of the year, we have the Batman. Very interesting. Very interesting. Man, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I guess that's the best way I can put it. It's gonna be interesting because I have heard both sides um about this particular movie. Some people love it, said it's the best movie they've ever seen, which questions how many movies you've seen. And I'm not even saying that to dig into the Batman as a bad movie because it's not a bad movie. The movie is not bad, but I think just watching it critically on a scale of other movies, you know, you can tell there were things lacking for sure. But something I was having this discussion, I was having a spoiler discussion with somebody. Is the music too loud still? Let me know. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. We can't get enough of that theme, right? Okay. So, um the movie is 10-10. It's not the best movie I've seen. I think TDK is better. Of course. Of course. Oh, you weren't hearing any music? Shit, I got that music in the back of my head right now. It's like dun, 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 dun. I'm not gonna lie though. Between you and me, guys, I was getting PTSD after that theme, after watching that movie 3 hours with that theme song constantly going in Nirvana. The last thing I wanted to hear was this song again. It was actually making me physically sick to hear this after the movie. When I saw it, I didn't even pay for the movie. That's what's crazy. You think I'd be more excited because Warner Brothers gave me uh a free ticket and everything, but that's so wild, isn't it? It's so weird. But the Batman officially comes out today in Japan, so some of my other friends will be able to catch up on it. DC Sun will be able to catch up on it. And I'm sure his opinion is similar to mine, actually, if not worse, actually. Uh Now, so something going back to what I was saying was recency bias. I had a 90 minute, or like a 90-minute spoiler discussion with somebody that's really big in the Batman community, and I'm waiting for KR to send it to me. I was hoping we could have that interview out before this chat, but it didn't work that way. I have a class later today that I need to do, and then um and then I need to get ready for the sexy gravure photo shoot later today. So that's why we're doing this discussion kind of earlier than usual. But what I will say about the spoiler chat thing, the discussion that I had with this guy, you guys all know him. Um, not a YouTuber. He's actually a filmmaker. Um, so that should be really big. But one of the excerpts about that, something that he brought up and I didn't really think about until later. Like a lot of people out here calling the Batman a masterpiece of a movie have probably not seen a lot of movies, actually. Have probably not seen um a good amount of classics, actual masterpieces and cult like something that was brought up was that Pulp Fiction is considered by standards a modern day masterpiece, right? In terms of a story. But that didn't even win, it was nominated, but it lost out to Forrest Gump, a movie that has not aged great over time. I still think it's great. I still think it's a great movie, but it's interesting to see how Pulp Fiction lost to Forrest Gump for Best Picture. Anyways, but I was thinking about it. Yo, it's been like a lot of people. It's very possible that a lot of people that have seen like the Batman have only grown up around the golden age or the heyday of superhero movies, basically. Like the entire genre of movies and like people packing in the theaters have been um superhero movies. Like if you're like 20 years old, 25 years old, yeah, basically the prime time of going to the cinema has been these heyday movies. Because if you think about Iron Man was 2008, yeah. Am I doing that right? Am I is my math right? I don't know. Iron Man was 2008. Batman, the Dark no. I'm messing that up somewhere. The Batman, The Dark Knight was 2008, right? Batman Begins was 2005, right? Yeah, okay, so Iron Man was 2008. Um like the heyday of like that, you know, you grew up when every movie that was basically making money was a superhero movie. So that will change your perspective, obviously, on how you're scaling certain movies. Particularly if you came out, if you were born after or a little bit before The Dark Knight, then you really don't know the impact that The Dark Knight had in terms of what it was going up against the rest of the types of movies that it was at. Oh, I will never forget the movie that came out with The Dark Knight was Space Chimps. Space Chimps, son. It's very interesting, but it's interesting to think of, like when you look at that, even if you look at the way the Avengers trailer is cut, you'd be like, who did this horrible job of editing? But at that time, that was a quality cut, actually. That was one of the best trailers out there. And I still think it doesn't hold up anymore, but having ironically um um 9 Inch Nails, having 9 Inch Nails as part of that theme music was a huge thing, like at that time. Nowadays, so having Nirvana in the Batman trailer was a big thing as well, which is also kind of interesting that taking that 90s music here. Yeah. So um let's see. Anyways, hopefully that spoiler discussion will be out later today. That's the plan. Uh I hope I can add that out, but I wanted to get this out the way because if I don't do it today, we won't be able to have this discussion until next week, and I thought that was going to be too late. So, um, if you were born at the same time TDK came out, you're too damn young. I mean, he's got he's got a point. Yeah. Um, did I like Patterson? It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't intimidating. Um, you know, I think they had something really good within the first 5 minutes of the movie. They had something really good. I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, hell yeah, dude! Yo, criminals are pooping themselves looking at the shadows, like they're like ready. Yo, this is gonna be so dope. He's gonna be like some crazy creature of the night type of dude, and like criminals. It reminds me of one of these Batman comics where one of the thugs put his cross up on Batman, and Batman came out like scared and shit. And this was in a Superman comic, a Batman and Superman comic, and one of the criminals put it. He's like, "Oh God, no!" Like, and I was like, "Dude, this is gonna be so dope." He's like, "When the signal goes up, it's not just a signal; it's a warning." I'm like, "Oh!" And then this dude just comes out walking 150, 160, soaking wet, um, with his black Timberlands, modified Tims, and is struggling with these thugs. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I guess. And then next time we see him again, he's doing his slow Undertaker walk. They're like, yo, hurry up and get to the ring, bro. All the cops are looking at him, and then the cops are disrespecting his ass. They're like, freak. Because he does look kind of like he looks like a cosplayer. Like the suit's dope, but he wasn't intimidating. Dude was coming through the front door of the Iceberg Lounge. Like there's nothing scary about this dude. I was like, man, oh well. Oh well. It really reminded me of like just like cosplay, like somebody that wants to be Batman. Um like, yeah, I'm gonna put some black makeup on and be moody and then try to be Batman like that. You know what I mean? Like, but I will say, um, Matt Reeves did had some fantastic shots where occasionally when Batman turned, he looked. I was like, oh shit, looks like Batman. But it was a lot of it was like the medium headshots. Those were the good ones. But when it was like full body, is just the dude was too small. Like in my in my opinion, he looked really small and compared to like some of the other people. Like when his stunt double was doing stuff, he didn't look so bad. Um and then when he was ironically when he was fighting women, because their frames are smaller, he looked a little more intimidating. But when he was up there going up against regular dudes, I was like, I guess would have been a better Nightwing, I feel, or something like that. Um, yep, thank you. I am the Shadows. Proceeds to knock at the club door and ask to speak to a mob boss. I'm like, what? Why, dude? Why? Like, I don't get that at all, dude. Like, where you've been training before you're Batman. We all know that you train for 10 to 15 years, even 20 years. When I say about 10 to 15 years around the world, learning techniques and arts, and the first thing you do is just knock on the door. Ugh. Even Patterson said that he's a weird. Yeah, he totally comes off just like a weirdo. Like he's like, I think that also speaks volumes to like this has to be modern age Batman. And you when you make a movie, you need to make it relatable for the audience that you're speaking to. So I guess this is gonna be like modern day emo Batman, um, fragile Batman, so to speak. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody who enjoyed the movie or can relate to this particular Batman, but I'm just like, that just kind of shows to me where the audience mindset is. And even Riddler was supposed to be it was a modern day Twitch streamer or something like that. Hey everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Like, I was just like, all right. I was like, okay. Patterson was kind of goofy in certain scenes in the movie, especially specifically when he looked underneath the car. That was kind of some of the stuff was actually kind of funny without intentionally supposed to be. Like the thumb drive, I thought that was pretty on par for a Batman movie, like making a dark joke like that. Thumb drive like that, you know. Um to me, this pull off three comic books really well. It felt like the comic off straight. Interesting enough, if Brian Azriello or something, or if one of those, if I read a comic book adaptation of this, and I feel like I did already with the Jeff Johns Earth One storyline, a Batman, I felt like I already read most of this movie. But if I read a Detective Comics version of this story, I think I would have liked it better. Like inner monologuing with Batman talking about detective stuff, and just talking about the crime scene, talking about compound chemicals, and fear talk, whatever, just talking about stuff like, and like him essentially in the shadows most of the time, or like just them drawing it very dark where you don't really see, like, you see the ugly grittiness of Gotham like that. I think I probably would have enjoyed the comic version of this story a lot more. But in terms of live excuse me, in terms of live action, I just felt like it was like that particular pacing was not. Uh, I was like, meh, meh, yeah. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why people expect them to be busting out Arkham Combat and not getting hit once or making a single mistake in year two of his career. So I'm gonna bring this one up briefly because I'm like, wait a second. Everybody keeps making this excuse that it's year two. The Batman, the animated series, The Batman, not Batman the animated series, but The Batman, that takes place in year 2.5 or so. Year 2, year 3 of his career. And this dude's already finessed. He's got Bruce Wayne handled. He's good. He's Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Um, in The Dark Knight, literally Batman has only been active for about a year. Joker says of himself. A year ago, all you criminal scum would not be having this meeting out, blah, blah, blah. What happened? Did your balls drop off? I'm like, this excuse that he's been 2 years, because regardless of if he's had 2 years of training, I mean, he's been 2 years active as Batman. He's still supposed to have had 10 to 15 years of training. That's the whole point. Yeah. This idea of like it's year two, he's still doing, like, he didn't just decide 2 years ago, shit, I'm gonna go out. Like he went out, he had to prepare his body, he had to prepare his mind like that. And they just I'm not saying they needed to show it, but it's definitely not there. Like, god damn, even day two of going out as Batman, I don't know how you would just walk straight into gunfire like that. It's like, okay. I thought he was far more intimidating to Bale than Bale, to be honest. The only time I found Bale intimidating was one or two scenes in Batman Begins and the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight. Swear to me. The animated the animated Batman movies are still the gold standard. Fair enough. Fair enough. You know, interesting enough, a lot of people don't give this one enough credit. Batman versus Dracula. That is a good one, dude. No, I mean, and by far, Mask of the Phantasm is still gonna be one of the best. If they're gonna go out and be remaking Batman movies on new Batman movies, they might as well just remake this one. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Like that's still yeah, that now that's the gold standard right there, dude. I wouldn't actually mind if Matt Reeves is gonna be doing something again, I wouldn't mind adapting a part of, Mask of the Phantasm. I think that'd be pretty dope. Yeah. Um, the way he fights doesn't look like he was trained by the League of Assassins. Well, you know, the adaption of the League of Assassins thing came really late in the game. Like that actually, I think that was more Jonathan Nolan and um uh the screenwriters kind of figuring out a way to get it all together because to my knowledge, I know that Henry Ducard trained Batman or trained a young Bruce Wayne in one adaptation of the story, but the League of Assassins was never really that heavily involved. So that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, this dude, Bruce Wayne, went around the world and learned, no, mastered different forms, like 26 forms of martial arts. Um, and that was not apparent. Like, first thing I'm gonna do is just use a front door and, and get shot point blank by a dude double barreled shotgun like that. I was like, what? Okay. But yeah. The Nolan adaptation used the League of Assassins a little bit more. Yeah. Uh Matt Reeves said this Batman wasn't trained around the world. He learned combat from Alfred. Well, it shows. Wasn't Alfred in a cane? Well, that's a shame. That's too bad because that's a very pinnacle point of Batman. Um, that's a really pinnacle point of Batman is the fact that you know before going out into the world, you need training. So if that's true, then Matt Reeves missed a huge point of what it takes to be the Batman. Because there's no way then that criminals would be scared of Batman. All right. He wasn't bulky enough? Possibly. Yeah. It's my particular situation, my particular point at this moment is like we're in this day and age now. Like every time somebody gets a Marvel role or a DC role, they tone the fuck up. Like that should be a like that honestly should be a requirement. Like for some particular roles, it's like, look, dude, Henry Cavill, Christian Bale, Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth, dude, even people that really didn't even need to do it, like the Eternals guy, the I believe Indian man, the Indian gentleman in the Eternals did not need to bulk up for that movie. Did not need to take the Marvel diet, and he did it anyways. You know, like of all roles, Batman, like that's one that you should really of all roles that needs to be a dude that needed to go out and pick up a. You said it best, John Campia. Remember that time he went, yo, John Campia. Marcus Gaming, thank you for the $2. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Um, yeah, let's keep going. All right. Actually, so yeah, I'm gonna give you guys your time in the sun. At least Battison doesn't kill like Batfleck. Yeah. Yep. There you go. I didn't mind him walking in everywhere. I was laughing my ass off when he jumped off GCPD headquarters. Yeah. It looked like he was gonna shit his pants before he jumped. He was actually afraid. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 I wanted him to monologue more. Yo, so did I. Honestly, so did I. Like, I thought that was actually really cool. Though I can also see why they might have decided to cut it sometimes because it's like a little too much. Like there's a point where I guess it becomes kind of corny. Like, I find these action sequences in the movie uninspiring aside from the Batmobile sequence. Um yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I feel like I feel like with the route they were going, they could have done like a John Wick type of thing. They like if they hired like the fight choreographers for John Wick, it might have been kind of cool, but I don't know. It was yeah, it was weird. It was I guess you know what it kind of reminded me of? A lot of the fights seemed almost felt like UFC fights or something like that, cage fighting, where it wasn't like a lot of finessing or nothing fantastic about it. It was just beat downs. You know, uh I feel like if the music was better and wasn't the same beat over and over again, that in takedown, that Arkham style takedown scene where in the stadium would have been much cooler. But because they were just using the same kind of music, reworked and retooled, it didn't really match that what was supposed to be more of an intense scene, I feel. Yeah. I knew from the moment they announced it was year 2 that it would serve as a excuse. It's pretty much like Batfleck old and wary excuse. Yep, I agree. Yeah. This Batman wanted to ground it. The league is too fantasy. Is it really? I'm letting them know. I'm letting them know. But to answer anybody's question, like I liked it. Borderline was bored, but I'm I'm uh I'm trying to get the will to watch it again because it just came out now publicly in Japan. So um I know my girlfriend was interested in the trailer, but I almost guarantee she's gonna fall asleep through the movie. Because there's just nothing to do. Uh unless unless we get like an extra tub of popcorn or something so she's got something active because like if for Japan in the theaters you got to be like dude, I feel like the Riddler. If you're not eating, if you're not actively eating, you need to have your you need to be covered up, double masked in a hot ass room. It was like slow torture, and I was just like, I was like, around the Batman, one of the Batman Selena rooftop conversations, I was just like, saw some other people on their phone chatting away. I was like, damn, okay, people are not into this movie right now. Yeah. Oh well. It's all interpretations. Some versions mentally, he's stable more than others. This version appears to me he's unstable in year 2. I see. If you read the movie's prequel novel, that has some info on his early years, but the movie should have told us that. I agree. I absolutely agree. Feeling like this version of Batman didn't train all over the world like previous iterations. Yep. Nah, it definitely showed. It definitely showed. I am the Batman, and you're dust. Yeah, I thought his Batman voice was pretty cool. Yeah. All right, we got a lot of shit going on. Wait, hold. Damn, there's a lot of comments. All right, hold on. Yeah, thank you for the $2. Appreciate that. What's up, B? Welcome. Yo, like the first 5 minutes of the movie, somebody was on his phone, like, and I was very surprised because this is Japan, and I was like, "What the fuck?" This dude was just. At first, I was like, "Okay, he's probably just trying to communicate to let somebody know where they are, or which seat that they're in, or something like that." But then I started seeing like smiley face and like little emojis, and like 5 minutes have passed, and then finally, one girl next to him was like, "Yo, There was two people actually. He was like, "Yo, put your fucking phone away." Because it was like it wasn't even like 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 hiding it or something like that. He was just up here, so the light was catching everybody's eye, and everybody's like, "What the fuck, man?" So yeah, if this is how they're going to do the Flash movie, I'm out. I think the Flash movie is going to be very, very different. But we won't fucking know because they keep delaying that. It got delayed for the eighth time. I'm just like, yo, come on, man. Oh my god, I'm so disappointed about the Flash story. Like all the other movies, I'm like, whatever. But the Flash is supposed to be that movie that's supposed to be like push it, like it's supposed to like help show the new state of the DCEU, right? And I'm just like, come on, man. Oh. Like I'm so like I can't like people wonder why I couldn't get hyped over that the world needs heroes trailer because they keep delaying the movies, and like I'm like I felt the same way about Wonder Woman 84. By the time the movie came out, I was like, I have no feeling anymore. Yeah, about it. Yeah. Post production yeah. WB, you have failed this fan base. All right, let's get into the questions, guys, because I know I'm gonna give you guys about 2 hours or so. Um, and then I'm gonna go. You guys can call in, talk about what you want to talk about. If you love the movie, go for it. If you hated it, it's all good. I want to hear what you guys have to say. This is your guys' time to shine. The Nolan trilogy is still the gold standard. Of course, absolutely. Anybody who says otherwise is having recency bias or did never experienced what the Nolan trilogy saw the Nolan trilogy on ABC or something like that. Speaking of which, y'all, if you want to see how bad some of that shit went when Batman Begins was on ABC Channel 7, Disney Channel actually. One of the trailers was cut so weird. It was like he fights for, he is the Batman. He fights for love. He fights for family. And people would not let that shit go. It was like, family? My parents are dead. All right, here we go. Be quiet, Kurt Cobain. My parents are dead. All right. DC fanboy, what's up?
What's up? You know, I had to come here first. You know, couldn't
Oh,
have you. I couldn't have you hating on my movie, man. You're really making me sad right now listening to this. But anyway, no, I respect your opinion, though. I respect your opinion, but I'm still going to tell you why you're incorrect.
okay.
So anyway, I personally, obviously, I was excited for this movie ever since it was announced. I mean, ever since it was turned into something else besides the Ben Affleck movie. When I heard the director and the actor, Robert Pattinson, I was like, I'm excited. I'll wait as long as I have to. And to me
I agree.
personally, I think it was worth the wait. And let me also tell you, I've seen this movie 3 times already, and I'm gonna see it for a fourth time this weekend. So I'm not that biased, but I'm pretty biased. So
So
the
why
main
is it
two
why
things that
for
I liked about
you?
the
Tell me.
movie.
Yeah, I want to know the points. Like what made you excited? Because I was
Okay,
exhausted.
so the two main things that I really liked was first off this tone and look, and I guess I'm gonna have to compare it to the Dark Knight trilogy just because I have something to compare it to. What I like about what this one did, like with the Nolan trilogy, it was grounded also, but like it just felt like a straightforward, just like we're gonna tell this grounded story. This one felt like it had some comic book elements to it still. Like it still felt like I was reading a comic at times with the cinematography, the kind of vibe it gave me, like this neo noir 70s detective kind of story. I really dug that, and I think it was a good. It's a good. It might be a good thing for the whole trilogy if it feels like that. And the second main thing that I really liked is just the characterizations that this version of the Batman story wanted to tell. I loved Robert Pattinson as Batman, and you definitely don't agree with me, but I think he's the best Batman in my personal opinion. Live action Bat. Obviously Kevin Conroy. And let me tell you why I think Robert Pattinson's the best one. So listen, I like his interpretation of both Batman and Bruce Wayne, and I think the main reason why
He had an interpretation of Bruce Wayne.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Don't worry about it. What I like about this Batman is that he's fully Batman, like more than anything, because like obviously the Dark Knight trilogy and Batman Begins specifically, they had that theme of like Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is like his true self, and Batman Begins touched on that a little bit, which I really liked in that movie. But I feel like this one fully embraces it because when you see him as Bruce Wayne, he does not want to be Bruce Wayne at all. Like Bruce Wayne is not even a person in his mind. Like Bruce Wayne died the same night his parents died in that alley. He just wants to fully be Batman. So when you see him in public, mostly in the funeral scene, like when you see him in public, you can just see by Rob Pattinson's body language and such, like he does not want to ever be there. Like he just looks uncomfortable the whole time. He does not want to be around people like this. Like even if he's not talking to anyone, he just looks uncomfortable there in public. And when he's Batman, he's like fully in his element. Like this is just him right now. And that's what I loved also. Throughout the whole movie, this is the most I've like paid attention to Batman. Like I just like looking at him, like seeing how he's like taking everything in, examining the whole environment. His eyes are like so expressive. He just see like it's so dead in his eyes, which I loved because people want like white eyes, but if you have someone this expressive, natural eyes work also. So I think like for Robert
Expressive
Pattinson,
but dead. Okay, fair
I
enough.
mean, yeah, expressive but dead. I mean, because like it's blackened also, so you can barely
I
see
see.
the pupils. That's why. But yeah, but basically, yeah, I just liked this interpretation of Batman. Like I felt it. Like I was like, yo, I like what they're doing with this one, and I want to see like more. I want to see how this character evolves. It's only year 2. He's got a long way to go. I kind of saw this if this is going to be a trilogy because it's not 100% confirmed, but if this is a trilogy, I would like to see how this character evolves because after seeing No Way Home, I noticed like that's like Spider-Man's origin, and I feel like if they did a trilogy with this one, this could be like Batman's origin, where by the end he turns into like a different kind of Batman, the same way Spider-Man turned into a new Spider-Man at the end of that trilogy. So I would like
Well,
to see that.
let's also be fair though, because isn't that exactly what uh Zack Snyder's sort of plan was with Superman as well? But everybody shit on him about that. Was like, yo, that's not my Superman. That's not what Superman's supposed to be like. I mean, we got to be fair. If we got to wait 3 movies to get the definitive Batman, so to speak, isn't that exactly what Snyder was trying to do with Superman? That granted, he was going like 5 episodes, 5 movies for him to finally get to that point. But yeah, you know,
Listen, man, my boy didn't even get his story. He didn't even get a trilogy. He was supposed to get Man of Steel too, and then like, nah, let's make it Batman v Superman. Let's just
yep,
make him fight
I
Superman in
agree.
separate Justice League. So I think that's a little unfair, just because he didn't even get a proper trilogy. He just like kind of like
That's a good
they had
point.
to force his universe. This is like a different universe, and they're not trying to make like Matt Reeves is like, I don't want Superman. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I just want to focus on Batman. So luckily, we don't have to really worry about
Hmm.
that being rushed forward. So if you see
Okay,
this,
so but also I challenge you on that because you're saying, all right, well, you're excited for a trilogy so we can finally get like the definitive Batman, but you're already calling him the best Batman.
I know he's my favorite. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, let
Okay.
me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else. I'm not a Batman fan. I'm sorry. I'm more of a Superman fan. I've never liked Batman, so it's actually funny because like people always say, like people have been saying, why am I so excited for this? Because I don't even like Batman, but like I like this interpretation of Batman. That's like what I'm trying to say is like
Okay.
I
Fair
I,
enough.
I
Fair
connected
enough.
with this one the most. You know, I know you
Why?
didn't.
Why do you feel like do you feel inspired to be Batman after this
I
movie?
do not. I mean, I don't know if I'd go down beating criminals in the alley, but you know, I just like this performance. I just like this interpretation. I just like this universe itself. I
Okay.
think I like the way Gotham looks here because you know in the Dark Knight trilogy, it's mostly Chicago, which is where I'm
Yeah.
from. So, but this one, you know,
All
because it
right.
was filmed.
Wait a
But look, I
second.
mean,
Hold on a second. So you're from Chicago. All right. Because I
yes,
keep on hearing this situation about how it finally looks like Gotham. To me, it just looked like dirty ass New York. But I've been to New York. I've stayed in New York quite a few times, but I've never been to Chicago. But the people that complain about the Dark Knight, I noticed that a lot of them are familiar with Chicago. So it looks very, that's your neighborhood. So it takes you out sometimes.
I mean, I was there when they filmed the Chicago parts for like
Yeah.
3 days. But look, I recognize it was Chicago for like 5 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. The scene where he's on the train, where he's at like a train, it looks like the train station that I go on to get to school every day. It looks like the
Exactly, exactly. And that's how I felt about seeing Gotham Times Square or Gotham Square Garden or whatever. I was like, all right.
but you gotta agree, the most Gotham looking thing was the Times Square. It looked like Arkham Knight, kind of.
I
You can
see
agree with
where
that.
you're going. No, no, I know exactly what you're mentioning. Like, I felt like yes, but they should have pushed it even harder after that.
Definitely,
Like,
yeah, definitely,
don't
definitely.
just give me one section that looks like Times Square. If you're going to go that route, then yes, give us that modern art deco, but give us all the LED and the illumination all across Gotham. Make me feel like there's lights and ugly ass Riddler trophies everywhere on top of buildings and things like that. So just one shot does not sell me on the fact that it's supposed to be inspired by the Arkham games. Yeah.
You know, I'll give you that. I would like to see like Gotham look kind of like you know, the animated series or something like that. You know, like even more of its own character because even the Tim Burton ones, you know,
Yeah.
Gotham is his own thing. So
Exactly.
I'll
If
give
you're
you
gonna
that.
if you're gonna give me the iceberg lounge, at least
Oh
give
yeah,
me some
definitely. Yeah.
iceberg ice sculptures or something. Like, I don't know.
Hey, we'll get
Like
some
it just looked
penguins and
like it looked like a reused club from Blade or something like that. I was like, all right.
well, let me tell you this: Penguin's in charge now.
Yep.
He's gonna iceberg it up. He's gonna get
Fair
some real.
enough. Fair enough. You know what?
He's
I'll
gonna get
give
some
you that.
snow,
Yeah.
some penguins for real. You know, it'll be better. But let me ask you
Fair enough.
something. Let me ask
Yeah.
you something. So, if this does get a sequel, which I'm pretty sure it does, because it's getting good reviews, what would you like to see this story go into? Because I let me tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see the Court of Owls because I feel like it would stick with this theme that this movie had of like corruption in Gotham, and like why not take it a step further and show how corrupt the city is with the Court of Owls? What do you think?
At this moment in time, I probably would not want Court of Owls only
Really?
because I'd be excited, but at this moment, I need to see how that Gotham Knights game is going to play out because the only rendition of the Court of Owls that we've read or that we know of is through the comic through Scott Snyder. But the thing about it is like what sold me on the Court of Owls is the fact that you had a mix between there's a Joker story going on. You also have this lore of talking about the Waynes, and then even with the new 52, or I'm sorry, the comic that was called 52, they went into ancient Gotham and was talking about how Gotham is cursed and blah, 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 and that there will forever be a fog around it. And the Court of Owls helped build it up. There's a lot of lore that it'll like get into that I think for the average viewer may not sell them on it. Like they may not care about Thomas Wayne that much and about the Arkham sort of stories and things like that. Something to also keep in mind is like the closest thing to modern day Court of Owls that we've gotten in theaters is Spectre. And I think for a lot of people, Spectre, I'm talking about the Bond films,
Yeah.
Spectre didn't really sell people so much on, ooh, a shadow company, ooh, a shadow group that is pulling the strings from the side. And I feel like if you're going to try to sell a Batman movie, it might be hard to do that because then there's also the whole thing with Dick Grayson. Talon. I feel like whatever adaptation they get into with the Court of Owls may not be the version that we all are sort of expecting. So, because even the animated edition threw in Damian Wayne. So there's all this like legacy building that still needs to be would have to be reworked a certain way. I personally would go with Mr. Freeze. I don't know if I do feel like this movie was actually lacking from having two big villains, or at least one side villain and then
Yeah.
a bigger villain. Like Riddler was not like he was not that dude to be the main guy. But he was all right. He was okay, but he was laughable. But like I would like to see Mr. Freeze played by Mark Strong or something
I've been
like
saying
that.
that in your Discord. I've said that so many times.
Yep.
I got
Like
receipts.
the whole thing is like, okay, so the end of the for whatever ridiculous reason, everybody gathers at Gotham Madison Square Garden or whatever, oh, that is actually below sea level. And so uh and so the levees break. I'd love to see a part of that because most of Arkham is kind of underwater, like St. Louis or whatever, or Atlanta, and I'm sorry, New Orleans. And I would love to see on the outskirts of Gotham some sort of warehouse where Victor Freeze is trying to save Nora. The power goes out, they get flooded. Nora is crystallized deep underwater or something like that. And then whatever Freeze was doing transforms him into the person he is that we are relatable. So he has to constantly stay cold or something like that. Something worked like that. Like I really would love to see Reeves go more of a heightened reality opposed to this very grounded, more grounded than the Nolan trilogy. I would like to see him go a little more on the fantastical side and also blame Batman for his condition. I think that'd be interesting. So
I like it. Mr. Freeze is my favorite Batman villain, so I would love to see him in a sequel.
yeah,
And so, I still think Court of Owls would be number one for me personally. Mr. Freeze is a very close second because of how much I love the character. But also the thing about like what's cool with these movies is that, like you can have multiple villains just like playing to the story, kind of like the Law on Halloween. Because you know how in the Law on Halloween it's like Batman trying to solve this mystery and he's just like interrogating his villains throughout to try and get some evidence. That's kind of what he does here too with like Penguin and mostly. So I feel like you could probably do more like multiple villains. You can do the Court of Owls and you can just have Batman kind of like being like, how far does this go? Let me interrogate the Penguin. Let me interrogate Scarecrow. Let
I
me do
like
all.
it. I'd like to see that. I just feel like for everybody talking about how Gotham finally feels like Gotham, I don't really feel like they delve that deep into everybody else. Like they basically only focused on Batman, where all the supporting characters weren't really like the only person that really was kind of there was I guess Penguin, where everybody else was like kind of very one-dimensional, so to speak. Like I can't even remember what the name of the commissioner, because I don't think it was Commissioner Loeb, but like
No,
the chief police, all these other characters, they were in and then they were out. Even the person like Selena was about to kill that cop who was like, I'm like, okay, like they're just kind of in and they're out. So this kind of lore of Gotham was not like, I feel wasn't explored enough. And so it's kind of like if you're going to put the importance of these shadow puppets or shadow masters playing games, I don't know. I'd say save it for the third movie like
you
that.
know, yeah, I can meet you I can meet you with that one. Make it the third movie.
Yeah, make it the third movie because then it gives more importance to almost like Duel of the Fates, the battle for the soul of Gotham. Make it more important like that, because if you're already having like a battle for the, because that's also the thing about Court of Owls is like it's supposed they're supposed to be kind of like, I wouldn't say Ra's al Ghul,
Like Illuminati.
yeah, they're supposed to be like, again, like Spectre. They're like the end
Yeah.
all of all of that. Like it's like every little step you've taken, Batman, has been because of us, like that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
Well,
so.
luckily for us, Gotham seems to be getting more fleshed out apparently because we have the Penguin show and we have maybe an Arkham Asylum series. So it seems like Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers kind of do want to flesh out this universe. So
Yeah, I kind of hate that. I hate that they need a series to
yeah, I'm
do
not
that kind
excited
of
for
stuff.
either one. I would need
I
to see
don't
like
like
the
these
trailer.
side
Yeah.
DLC stories like in order to get the full story, but because I feel like in a 3-hour movie, how come it feels like so many characters were underdeveloped in such a long ass movie? But oh well. Oh well. Yeah. But that's me. That's just me. Maybe my opinion will change upon second watch, but I doubt it.
So you're gonna watch for a second time is what you're saying. You are gonna see it.
I maybe
Oh
in
man,
a
I saw it
few
3 times already. You gotta see it at least twice.
maybe in a few weeks or something like that. Maybe
That's fair,
I'll
that's fair.
see what I could like. I don't know. Like I wasn't to be fair. I was somewhat in a irritated mood the first time I saw it because of one of my models cancer or was having a drama with a contract the next day. But yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. In all likelihood, I'll probably check it out when on my girl's day off, and I'll see if it changes my opinion. But nobody has actually sold me on being excited for rewatching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But DC fanboy, I appreciate it, man.
All right, no problem. Enjoy the rest of your stream. I'll be here watching, listening. So
All right,
take
man.
care.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All
There you
right,
go.
see you.
DC fanboy. There you go. Akasan off topic, but did you like Fast Armageddon even though you're not reacting to the Flash anymore? I haven't even watched the Armageddon thing. I honestly did not know that the Flash came on last night. Like I think it has basically found its way off my socials, to be honest. Like nobody I know except for Eunice is talking about that show anymore. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just that it doesn't reach the level of people even bothering to talk about it anymore. So it's kind of just like Legends of Tomorrow. There's still a group out there that is talking about it. There's people that are watching it, but it's just not really like I actually have not even caught up with Superman and Lois, man. It's weird. It's weird. Diabolical also came out. The boys, you know, the Batman Who Laughs would be dope. That is the only way. That is the only way I will accept that lackluster cameo. I was exhausted, dude. I remember when I came out of um when I came out of freaking Batman Begins and that card the roar of the audience was just amazing. And he's just like takes this guy, he even leaves a calling card, and he's like, I'll look into it. Dude, the theater erupted like crazy, dude. The Batman, not so much. People were like, I remember looking at my friend. I was like, was that supposed to be the Joker? like, I was like, what the fuck is this? like, they're there now. I was like, all right, and I was like, okay. I was just mentally exhausted. I was just like, oh god, they really are just remaking the Nolan trilogy at this point. It's like, and then later to find out that it's the same guy that was in the fake ass Ezra Miller's body double or something like that. To see him now, that's the only way I will accept if they're eventually going down the line as the Batman Who Laughs. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. All right. Speaking of, what's up, J King? Hello.
What's up?
Hi. How you doing?
Hey, good. It's been a while.
Yes, Matt Murdock here.
Okay, I've heard the joke already. I heard the joke.
No,
I didn't know it was coming.
is that not what those glasses are?
They are. They are.
Okay, so there you go. I'm just calling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wore these also because red Batman, but yeah, I get it. But anyways. So I've heard your
Go for it.
opinions. I've heard your opinions with the Batman. And since I've had time to like think about it after seeing the movie when it came out like 2 or so weeks ago, however long it's been, um, I think my opinion has changed just a bit. I came out of that movie super excited, and while I still like the movie. I can critique it, yes, but I still like the movie. I try not to compare it to like many of the other movies that we've seen because, in my opinion, when it comes to all these Batman movies, all the interpretations we've seen, comics, video games, movies, etc., you know, each of them have their own feel. There's something that one has that the other doesn't, and there's something that the other has that one doesn't. There's that's why I can say like, okay, there's some things that say the Nolan trilogy had that this didn't, but there's also some things that this movie had that the Nolan trilogy didn't do. I felt like this movie was more of a combination of somewhat of Batman Earth One, a little bit of the Batman Telltale series, you know, how they dealt with the Waynes in that one, a bit of year one, year two. Like again, this definitely felt like the early stage Batman, and so that's why I can excuse or at least accept many of the things that they did within this. You asked me about my opinions about Gotham. Yeah, definitely should have been seen a lot more like different sides of it, but I can definitely feel like, okay, this definitely feels like a city that like, is there really any hope for this city? That's basically the feel and vibe Matt Reeves gave us. Like, is there really any actual hope? Like, this looks like a place that used to be a dystopia, almost. I mean, a utopia, almost like Metropolis, but has just gone so far downhill in the mud and dirt, and later on in the movie, in the you know, overflowing waters. That's like, can it really be saved? Is Batman really like? Is he even going to change a single damn thing about this city? And that's the feeling I got from it. And I feel like when we see Gotham more, be it within the spin-offs or like, you know, in the second Batman movie, I feel like they definitely will give more of a feel to it. I feel like it's gradually going to change from what we saw it as to maybe where we see it in the animated series or maybe where we see it in the Arkham games. I feel like it's going to evolve as time moves on, just as Batman has evolved. And I know I've heard your take on Patterson as well. Like, you know, oh, he, you know, he's moving a certain way. That's not usually how Batman does. You know, he's not as trained, even though Reeves said he wasn't trained. He didn't go around the world to get all that training, you know, everything like that. I feel like this Batman started off like, and I want to ask your opinion about this as well. This Batman feels like he started off on the I am vengeance and more turned to the hope that the city might not deserve, but truly might need at this moment in time. Because I mean, look at it. At the end of the movie, he didn't just like bounce, let the paramedics and everyone like take care of things. He stuck around to pull people out of the mud and the dirt and the waters from the flood. So I wanted to know, like, how did you feel about that? Like, how do you feel like he changed from like when he started to where he was at the end of the movie? You know, excusing all the Riddler and Joker stuff that we got at the end.
Yeah. um, you mean when he got jumped by the Twitch chat? Yeah. Hey, bro. Yeah, I ordered some stuff off Amazon too. Yeah, let's do it. Let's storm the capital of Gotham. I'll see you November 6th. Yeah. I'm vengeance. Oh God. No, I see what they were trying to do there. I technically on a realistic situation, I feel like he'd be more of a distraction at that point. Like people would be up here trying to get selfies of him or whatever. Like you know, the paramedics are trying to make this happen. Like it kind of reminds me of that time Mel Gibson stopped somebody on the side of the road because they got a flat tire or something like that, and the guy was just like, "Are you Mel Gibson? Are you Mel Gibson? What are you doing out here by yourself?" He's like, "I'm trying to fix your damn vehicle." Like, you know, like I feel like Batman would be more of a distraction than actual help at times. But I also get the point that they're trying to do. But I like I'm not gonna blow it out of proportion like people on Twitter. People are acting like this is like all inspiring and the fact that everybody's following him out because he's the light in the darkness that's helping everybody out. I'm like, okay, it's cool, but you know, again, here's the thing. I think we're building that up more than it really is because now if he was feared the way the movie was trying to present him in the first 5 minutes before he actually came out, if he was feared and everybody was afraid of him, the cops were afraid of him. Granted, they had that one scene where the Asian guy was like, "Don't hurt me." He's like, "I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to see whatever." But if that was a continual thing throughout the entire movie, I feel like okay, I get it that like he's switched over, but I felt like this
Yeah.
my boy was just getting disrespected the entire movie anyways,
Well, I mean,
particularly
yeah,
by the cops. And so I was
yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
can
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
can I can definitely feel that, like, you know, he hasn't fully established his No, I am not. He hasn't fully established his you know, his myth basically. He hasn't fully established the creature in the night that the criminals be afraid of, that the people of Gotham see as their defender basically. He hasn't fully gotten that yet. And he's got time to do that. He's definitely still
Well,
got a
but
few years to
it
do
can't
that,
does
but
he now? Does he? Because now he's like fully in the light. Like he's being this, they gave him the Messiah sort of treatment a bit, where he all he was missing was a slow motion Zack Snyder scene, cape flapping, holding a woman coming out, like
oh
that's the
god.
thing. It's like once you go to that particular level of becoming a savior, you can no longer be the boogeyman, the Baba Yaga anymore. It's like that's the issue of having putting a superhero or hero complex to a certain level, especially like Superman, putting him on Superman sort of savior levels, and then trying to make him be making the criminals afraid. Literally everybody now sees exactly what he looks like in daylight, so it's kind of just like, meh, I could take him like that.
Well, if I were to maybe, and again, I would try to like play like both sides when it comes to talking about these movies, talking about these films, and etc. If I were to say, I'd say maybe, I mean, Gotham is definitely going to go through not like a no man's land, but basically like the crime is definitely going to expand. Penguin's already getting himself ready and everything, so I feel like the
I
crime
was
is
kind of
going to
hoping for that.
expand.
Yeah.
So I feel like the crime is definitely going to expand, and I feel like criminals are going to get a lot more abrasive. Like they're going to be a lot more like, ooh, like what else we can do? Like Riddler did this and that, but also the reputation of, yeah, Riddler was this big dude who was able to take out all these big Gotham like public political officials, and yet he was still stopped by, like, even though there's the floods, he's still stopped by Batman. He was still stopped by this dude, like even though we see him, and again the costume could definitely change up, and the aesthetics and his theatrics might evolve over time as the Batman that we know. I feel like his reputation is going to be like, I don't know if I want to mess with that dude, to the point where he might be able to build back up that fear while still being respected by, like, the GCPD, and, garner the partners that he does in the future. I'm definitely excited to see where that goes. And I definitely liked your idea when it came to like Mr. Freeze. Matt Reeves even said that, yeah, he would like to take a different, like a more humanized like take on Mr. Freeze if he gets the chance for the sequel. And I'm like, yeah, definitely, like go for that. Like go for seeing how Mr. Freeze would do. Because I mean, the only live action Freeze we got is
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Batman and Robin.
Yep.
But yeah, so I definitely would like to see that. In terms of all of the clues that Riddler has left Batman in this film, and even left us online, like I had to spend some time decoding that last message actually, and Joker now being a thing. Again, I definitely feel like things are about to change. Like this is more of Gotham before the wackos came, and then Riddler is like the spark that's like, oh, like what else am I gonna do? Like Penguin's now inspired, Joker is now gonna like make himself more known, getting the rest of them, Two Face, Killer Croc, Solomon Grundy, the rest of them, like bring them all out of the woodworks. Batman may have been like, the guardian keeping everyone at bay, but Riddler's like, oh, if someone can
The
challenge
catalyst.
him, if someone can challenge him, then maybe some of us other ones can challenge him.
That
I
makes
definitely
sense,
like would like to see. I definitely would like to see other stories where it's like, oh, you're not so big and bad, but he's like, no, let me show you why I'm the big bad bad. Let me show you why you should freaking fear me.
Killer Croc comes out of the sewers because his BET was cut off during the flooding. Yep. I see.
Please
That
don't
that's
remind
the
me of that.
concept, Reeves. Make it happen. Make it happen. BET.
Look,
It got
that's no
his
longer canon,
illegal
so we don't
cable got
talk.
cut
We,
off,
we don't talk about
basically.
we don't talk about that continuity. The Flash is about to get rid of that, so thank God. But
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what's up. That's all.
yeah.
That's cool. Any other points that you wanted to make about the Batman? So your opinion of it, you came off the recency bias and now it's kind of settled. Is it
Mhm.
better? Is it better than Dark Knight? The Dark Knight, like everybody's saying, apparently.
I wouldn't say, again, I say each of them have their own feel that makes them different from one another, strengths and weaknesses that both of them have. I really tried not to compare it to Nolan's trilogy. Yeah, too bad that that movie's gonna take a while to come. But yeah, I try not to compare it to Nolan's trilogy because, everyone loves that trilogy and, everyone has their own feel of how Batman should be. I think we can all say that pretty much like, pop culture, like the more things become popular, the more that we feel like, oh, we know the certain place that a character should be. And so like, people feel like, oh, the Dark Knight, that's the highest level, or the Batman, Matt Reeves, and what he's got for the future, that's the highest level. If you were to ask me, I like them both. I can't necessarily pick one, but if I would have to pick one, if you're really asking me to choose one over the other, I'm going to, and don't kill me for this, I'm going to have to go for the Batman because I don't know, there just felt like Bruce becoming more of, even though he is dark and brooding, becoming a in somewhat ways a more compassionate person within this film because again he needed those relationships with Alfred, Gordon, and Selena to not make him the monster that he sometimes can be, depending on who, if they come back, or I mean if Selena comes back, or if other ones are introduced within other spin-offs or the second movie within this Matt Reeves Batman universe. That's to be seen, but I feel like when it comes to this left me more hopeful in
Okay.
ways. The Batman was like, oh yeah, that's the begin. Batman Begins, like, oh, that's the beginning. The Dark Knight's like, man, what are they gonna do? And the Dark Knight Rises left like, okay, that's the legacy he leaves behind. But this is like, okay, this is the hope for Gotham, whether they want it or not.
Oh, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Maybe you're selling me on a rewatch. Maybe I'll watch it with that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
not
All
not
right.
being and
Before
not
you
being mad
leave,
at cancellations.
it is now, yeah, if it doesn't get delayed until for 10 years now. Let me see. Before you leave, here we go. The roast of J King here. The people in the chat have had lots to say. So there you go. J King looks like Toy Man. Okay. Oh no, this one's just another one. Okay. J King looking like a secret agent. Okay, fair enough. Actually, J King looks like Hugo Strange, only missing the goatee. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Oh, here's one. The Flash said, "Are you going to a strip club tonight?"
There we go. There we go.
J King looking like an undercover Fed. I like that. I like that. Hold on, I think I got one more here. Because hold on. There you go. No. That's just the same joke. Okay. This was my favorite one. J King looking like he's gonna visit the Iceberg Lounge after this. Yep. J King looking like he found the blind neon party. Oh damn, dude, they coming at you, man. Okay,
You know what?
damn. All right.
Okay. All right. You know what? Bring it on.
Christmas
More
lights
roast,
in the
come on.
bedroom. Damn, dude. Okay.
Well,
Hey,
look,
man.
the setting's actually gonna change by the next time you probably see me, so who knows?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. I guess. Yeah. He fit in me 40 the 44 below. All right.
Come on.
Well, thank you, J King, for showing up. Negan Rage was asking about you, wondering where you've been. So
Been busy, but who knows? Maybe I'll
handle
return by the time of maybe I'll return by the time of Moon Knight. We'll see.
it. Yeah, the white Batman. Marvel racist. Yep.
That's a
Okay.
huge understatement, but okay.
Okay. J King at his Blade audition. Damn, dude. All right. Thank you, J
Let me
King.
get off before they got more to say.
All right, man. They got a lot to say, man. You got this. Yeah, you got this. All right, man. Thank you for calling in, dude.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Peace. Later. Y'all be nice to J King. He's got a lot going for him right now. Nah, he actually that was actually he sold me very well on see, now he's crying. I can see him on the camera. He's crying privately. Like dude, I wish I could record this. Like everybody in the chat is like laughing their ass off right now. J King's like crying in the corner right now, dog. Y'all, his tears. You know how much tears make strippers' makeup run, bro? Like, come on now. You guys are too mean. All right. Let's move to the next one.
Oh man.
What's
What's
up,
up,
Ronan?
Akasan?
What's up?
Not much. Oh, that J King Iceberg Lounge comment, that was nice.
You know, he could, honestly, he could fit. He could fit like he'd be one of those people getting his ass beat by Batman in the beginning, like just be like, funny enough, I'm actually, now that I think about it, because we focused so much on it when the first trailer came out, that dude did have like little Tim Drake had like no point to the rest of that movie afterwards. That was so interesting. Like it
Yeah.
was interesting to me how much of a Joker movie that Batman movie could have been. Like I'm like, you guys might as well have just merged the damn two. But they focused so much on that dude that like he had no point the rest of the movie. It was so interesting. Yeah.
He got a job though, so I was happy for him. I'm like, look at him. He got to be in two DC
But
stuff.
that confused the hell out of some people.
Right.
Like my friend
Right.
was like, wait, does that mean we're gonna have Tim Drake in this movie? The
Right.
Titans are
Yeah.
in? I'm like, no.
No, it's
But
not that kind of movie.
props to people who actually remembered him from the Titans, or people who actually watched the Titans show. All right,
Yeah,
so Ronan, I
mhm.
know this is your all-time favorite movie of all time. You said it's
No,
better than The Dark Knight. You said it's
as
better
a
than anything Nolan put out. You said Matt Reeves takes huge dumps on the Nolan trilogy, and
whoa.
Battison is your definitive Batman, and no one can compare. Kevin Conroy better retire. I remember you said that in another stream.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I plead the fifth on all accounts. I think this is the best Batman film, but I still think that it's still the Dark Knight's still king with terms of film, because that shook everything in an environment where once every 3 years, 2 years, we would get a superhero film. Now we get it every week. So that's the big distinction that I have with those films. But I do love the film, and this is where I think it resonates with me, is that I've only seen it once. I've been busy trying to get a second showing, but probably after this I might go and get a IMAX or Cine One showing that I will try again. And that's how you know a film hits someone or resonates with someone, is that if you've only seen it once and you still think about it from technical points of views to story points of views to even character points of views. I mean, I like I, my big nitpicky thing was that as much as I love the marketing the film had, it showed too much of moments that would have been surprising and more engaging, like all the riddles. What's black and blue and dead all inside you? It's literally in the trailers, and
Justice.
even justice. And like, why not all the riddles? I've seen like the trailers were all over the ads on YouTube. So I think that's what the marketing. I don't want. It hurted the film, but at the same time, for me, the film was great enough, and I loved it to be like, all right, I can go buy it and still accept each moment and each scene and still be moved. Like, for example, I know I'm one of those people who says that the flare scene that hit home for me in a way that I thought it wasn't. The fact that as I took this character to being very suicidal, in my opinion, to now being like, all right, now I do have something worth living, that there's more than one way to fight crime, that you could do it both sides, that you could still
fall down Die Hard style and then land in the water. I was like, what? That was your plan? Okay, whatever.
But that's the thing, that he was willing to die, that he was okay to die if it meant helping the city. And that's, again, that is suicidal, and it's admirable thing. But he realized that no, me still living each day, I have the money resources to help change this renewal plan for better, and accepting that my father did a bad choice but is not a bad man. And again, that flare scene,
I'm disappointed. I'm actually kind of I wish, since they already spent the time casting a Thomas Wayne, like instead of that scene, like some of the most interesting parts of the movie. So for me, I was personally exhausted after Falcone was arrested and shot, and I was like, cool, we're good, I'm done. And then when I forgot when that dude got shot, I'm like, oh god, we still have the Riddler to deal with. Like that, they could have ended the movie right there, and I've been like, cool, I'm sold. Oh, Riddler, whatever, I don't care. like I was good with the Falcone stuff. Actually, was more interesting than the Riddler because like I said, Riddler was a Twitch streamer, and he was up there like, "Hey, everybody, thanks for supporting my Patreon for my anarchy, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and keep no more lies from Gotham. Hashtag let's go." Anyways, Falcone was actually
Yes.
pretty damn good in like the
Yes.
story where like some of the most important stuff they're talking about. I would have liked to actually see a real flashback. So
I
they're talking
understand that.
about
Yeah.
Falcone being spread out on the table and everything, and
Maroni and all that.
Thomas,
Yeah.
Maroni, and needing to be operated. Like, I would have loved to have seen a young Bruce from upstairs looking and seeing this situation. Like, I felt like some of those childhood flashbacks could have worked a lot more, opposed to the only real flashback we got, kind of, was Bruce Wayne opening this office. I'm assuming it was his father's office that was locked up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, well, it would have been nice to actually have seen an actual real flashback of that so you could actually kind of care about Batman or Bruce Wayne, but it felt so like, I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, anyways.
I guess just the visuals and what them showing you without saying it and spinning a scene with, I think that I got it. And that comes with the baggage of being a Batman fan and be like, okay, you
I
don't have
agree.
to tell me and show me everything. I can make the connections. And the fact that I commend them for bringing the Martha Arkham thing. I'm like, all right. And the fact that there was no pearls, we didn't need to see an origin. No, them they didn't say Joe Chill, and yet Alfred was just like, it could have been a random person, random mug. It could have been Falcone. I don't know. I'm sure in my guts I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So I love that. Which you brought up the Falcone thing, and I understand we could have ended there and perfectly, but the whole Twitch thing, hey guys, why not? I like just because how it's reflective of our times, and it's
Maybe
not
that's the
saying
reason I have a problem with it.
right,
Because I'm like, yo, literally, Batman was
yeah,
beating up on some of the hate comments I get every day on YouTube. So it's like,
yeah.
like
Which,
those are the Snyder bros out there right there. Like, yeah, man, restore the Snyderverse. Come on, man.
but
Like
I
that's
liked,
that,
yeah, I liked that the film was about how do you engage with corruption and a damaged city? Do you go through chaos and rage, or do you do it through hopeful and compassion? And Batman had to learn that. The Riddler was too blinded and too set that like no, that the only way is to kill the people, the head honchos who are involved, and literally wash the city, literally and figuratively, of all this filth and reborn it again. So I love that metaphor and philosophical stuff that I appreciate it onwards. And I want to ask you this question.
mm.
You brought up Falcone coming out. They arrested him. They throw a little Zorro joke that I liked. They shoot him.
And that's the same dude from Transformers, believe it or not. But yeah. That dude is
Everybody,
actually well known as a comedian. And then I was like, wait, that's the same guy? No, that dude
yeah,
was great. Yeah.
yeah. He's in Do the Right Thing. He's in a couple other indie films, but yeah, I remember friends were like the Transformers guy. I'm like, yeah, but he's got other chops and Big Lebowski.
Now he
But
was so good. He was so good in the sense that I was like, who is this guy? And then later,
yeah,
yeah, like I was like, who is this guy? Like he looks like he's been around for a minute. And I was like, oh, this is great, dude. Yeah, he was
yeah,
great. So I thought he did really well because I'm used to Falcone actually being much bigger too,
yeah, more
and
flamboyant and all
walking
that.
around with
Yeah.
the scratches or whatever. And especially anybody who knows Long Halloween is familiar. But I
Yes.
think this guy did a great job for what. Now, granted, when the action scene started, I found it a little comedic because I'm like, dude, this you mean to tell me this dude, like I could actually see him having a problem taking out Selena because she looked like she carried more muscle than he did. So
Yeah, but I
it was
love
kind of funny.
that line of his like I gotta kill my own blood your mother now you. So that was
No,
interesting.
it was
But
pretty interesting. But no, I think they did a good job. All right, what's your question?
the scene of him dying and Batman kneeling next to him or sitting down next to him, there's an overhead shot of the light, which is part of the riddle. Bring him to the light.
Yeah,
There's an overhead shot of you can see Batman and Falcone in the ground, and
it's
the
like
light flickers a little bit.
his parents. Oh, okay.
I'm about to say that like it's in the story context, it's a part of the riddle, but I thought that was a beautiful, subtle way of Matt Reeves. Maybe it may not be a thing. I read into it that was his way of saying a little nod to Crime Alley without
Yeah.
doing a whole
Yeah,
5
totally.
minute scene about that. So I when I saw that, I'm like, oh, beautiful. Somebody get to that. We get it. We don't need to see his origin ever again. We get it.
I don't
And
know
I
if it was a
appreciate
nod to
that.
Crime Alley. I think it was just a motherfucker that just got assassinated. But like,
Right.
I thought they were doing a nod to Crime Alley when they were gathering for the funeral and Bruce had the flowers and he like bent down and I'm like, wait, are you saying your parents got killed right here on these stairs instead? But
Yeah.
if anything, that was kind of a nod to the first Batman movie because that's where Joker assassinates the mayor. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Sword.
And like I thought that was a nod as well. So I don't know. But yeah, it was all right though. Yeah.
And I agree with DC Fanboy that the Court of Owls is the one antagonistic element that I would want to see in this iteration of Matt Reeves' Batman universe. And I told you this, and you've seen my tweet that I'm like, if this is it, I am happy, I'm content, and let it be. They already announced the shows. Let's take our time with this because if we start filling in all this Batman stuff, it sort of takes away from what you're doing with DC that you're already delaying. I'm like, yo, just if they already announced it, just set those stones straight, and then we'll see what story comes out of it. Because, like the Court of Owls, it's a very, like you said, Illuminati Spectre thing, which I also noticed that too. Even though I don't want the the Court of Owls being the reason Joker and Riddler happened. That's too in world. I would like it that they be the ones moving the corruption.
Yeah.
And when they see a villain coming into the game, they step back and be like, let's stop what we're doing and see what this element does for us.
I do
And I
feel
would,
like I feel like the Court of Owls would play out a lot better as a TV show.
TV show,
Basically
yeah,
like a Mr. But it's like also at the same time for any comic book fan, for the comic book fans, once you figure out who the Court of Owls are, or like that it's an existent thing like Spectre, then the illusion is gone, and then they got to
right.
throw in Talon because that was the only credible threat was Talon. But Talon's whole thing about reanimated corpses and shit, that's why it's like I was talking to somebody else in the spoiler discussion we had, and that's why some of the more fantastical villains have this legacy buildup that makes it hard to explain in one movie, just like the Batman Who Laughs and things like that. They're cool, but it takes a while to explain some of those people. Like some people like Sunflower is an idea. I forgot exactly what the name is. I think his name was Sunflower or something like that. He was like he looks like Slender Man, and then he grows of sunflowers out of corpses or things like that. I was like, all right, a lot of Scott Snyder stuff takes a lot of work to develop. Scott Snyder is a slow build for almost all of his villains, especially the multiverse kind of stuff and the DC metal stuff. But we'll see. We shall see. But I'd be fine with a Reeves Batman and a more fantastical Justice League Batman on the side, or like both. But knowing Warner Brothers, they just cannot. They don't know how to do
let go of it.
It's weird. It's like they'll develop 1,000 Batman projects, but they'll still only be able to streamline one at a time for the big screen. I'm like, yo, you literally could still have a Justice League Batman or a Justice League movie in a DCEU Batman and still have Matt Reeves Batman. If like you can't don't tell me that you can't have two of these and you can have two different Jokers and Harley Quinn's running around and all that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
even the notion of introducing another Joker, which he's my favorite DC character, but we just got Joaquin. I'm like, we're good. Like, people were mixed on that film. I liked it, but I've only seen it a few times because it's disturbing sometimes to think about. And it's just like, if they have to keep this Joker in this universe, treat him the way Scarecrow was in Nolan. And I don't want to bring up Nolan, but like the background stuff. We know who he is. Popcorn. If you want to give him a scene, fine. Batman gets him and throws him in jail or Arkham again, and then bring in something that we're not used to or something that hasn't been touched in the in this century, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and
Um,
or and or just work with Court of Owls and Joker in a third movie. I
yes,
think it was called Joker's War or something like that, or the
yes,
Joker War, like
yes.
that. That might work if if you want to have him coming down there to Prince's Party Man or whatever, and have a bunch of blimps or whatever, and it's like the war for Gotham. So it's basically Batman plus the Court of Owls, Batman versus the Court of Owls versus the Joker. I don't really want another recreation of TDK or Batman 1989. Like, give us something different. It's fine.
Yes, I agree with you with that. And I wouldn't be opposed. I don't know how you feel about this. If you're not going to introduce the Superman stuff or more in bigger universe stuff, to me, I wouldn't be opposed if like of the Question showed up, because the Question would fit in this type of storyline and being like, all right, here's another detective who has
Mm.
more mixed ideals, but that's just me because I want the Question in live
Yeah, I
action.
mean, the problem is the question would just be, unless if they were gonna, like, people would just not understand it. They'd be kind of like Rorschach. They'd be like,
Yeah,
what the fuck's up with his face? Like, huh? We don't get it. Like it'd
yeah,
just be no, like, yeah, you'd be closer. You'd be better off trying to get Black Canary to show up in Gotham at this point. Like, yeah, or Green Arrow or something like that. I don't know.
right.
So we'll see. All right. Anything else? Pretty good.
I if it's cool, I would like to recommend some films for people who dug it or who are mixing and want to see
Yes,
another way
please.
to try. Uh, this is someone who's from the 90s and wasn't collecting Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. I just spent my whole time watching old movies. So if you want to get something to the vibe of the Batman, go watch something like Hitchcock's Notorious. It's an amazing noir movie. It's gothic, like I think Gotham should be, and I felt a little bit of that in the Batman. So that's a good film. Watch Kiss Me Deadly, another great noir film that is very PI level
Actual
surface.
noir movies, folks.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Yes,
y'all out here calling the Batman masterpiece in a noir movie. I'm like, dude, like, watch some actual noir movies. But
that's
yeah,
where I would say like it's like this would take time to consider a masterpiece, but like it owes its debt to the animated series and these films, in my opinion. And if for comic fans, because we're all comic fans, read Ego. Everybody says Year One, everybody says Long Halloween, and they're right to do that. But this one needs some love. And if you like what they did, the mentally unstable stuff of Batman slash Bruce Wayne, the first story with Darwin Cook's story and art, it is messed up. It is something to think about, and I highly recommend it.
all right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, man.
Ronan.
It's always
Later,
fun to
dude.
talk to you. See ya, man.
Yeah, please. Well, that was nice. He said, nah, man, only superhero stuff. And see, that is the problem. That is the problem. If you're only watching superhero movies, then yeah, of course the Batman's gonna look like a masterpiece. Now the baby doll as villain, that'd be kind of cool. Be kind of weird, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool, dude. They should hire damn it. The joke is gone now, but they should hire the dude that played Tyrion Lannister to play baby doll. It's not even funny anymore. What was the green liquid in Vengeance? Vengeance injecting himself. It was just an adrenaline boost. Don't look into it. Like, Batman would not just be suddenly just be taking out some venom and nah, dude. It's just we live in a society. Yeah. All right. Anime is art. What's up?
Oh man, I only got 10% battery left on my
Well, you
phone.
better make it quick. No.
Oh, on the Court of Owls thing, I actually wanted to ask a question. Have they got actually in their group any heroes that kind of represent them?
I mean, technically, Talon is supposed to be their champion, like that. And so every year they reanimate, or every
Yeah,
50 years to 100 years, they
yeah.
choose a champion and they reanimate them. And Dick Grayson is supposed to be next in line, like that.
Because what I was thinking, if everyone's obsessed, and even I brought it up in the chat, it would be good to do the Court of Owls. I mentioned that online. The big problem with the second movie is it's already convoluted because they've hinted at the Joker. Penguin's still alive and he's going to take over the mob thing. Joker's hinting at keeping the Riddler in the friggin' game because he wants to have friends. So we got 3 main villains. You want Freeze in, so having like 4 main villains in the second movie is going to be a pain in the ass. So we said stick the Court of Owls if lucky in the third movie, but sticking the entire organization in the third movie seems like a pain in the ass because there's such a big group, even for 3 hours.
Yeah, but
So
they're
it'd be
not. They're
better
not. But the thing is, again, they're shadow people. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
They're treated like
yeah.
Spectre. Spectre was in the Bond movies,
Yeah,
but you don't. It's just a bunch of rich white
It's
people in owl
even in
masks.
the
That's
Bond
basically it.
movies, even in the Bond movies, Spectre was spaced out over like 2 or 3 movies.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
they hinted at them. So I was thinking, why not make it that Talon
Talon.
is in the third movie with a few other members of the group, and they hinted it, and then it leads into like a 6-episode series on TV as the Court of Owls.
Possibly. I mean, I wouldn't
mean,
be
you can-
opposed to the first act of like a third movie. The first act introducing the Court of Owls, are playing it up or whatever, and Batman
Yeah.
has his run in with the reanimated corpses. They have their big scene,
Yeah.
but then later Joker builds himself up, because that's exactly what happened in the Joker War. Was like Batman was running out of options, and he was just like, "Oh my god, okay, well." I'm about to lose Gotham, so I'm about to have to turn to all these rich white people in owl masks and be like, yo, let's team up. And then that's exactly what happened. It was basically Batman and the Court of Owls versus Joker.
Big question on this. This would just be a fan way of doing it based on the first movie. And they could kind of do it in the second movie. Would you be against them turning Selena Kyle into Talon?
Oh, I don't think it technically, I don't think it can work like that though. Like, yeah, they could rework the story, but I think it has something to do with the DNA, or like something like that's why it's only particular people. It's something to do with like their DNA or something like that is like programmed from birth. And so Dick Grayson had like something in his mouth that was getting him ready to be a servant of Talon or something like that.
So they have to build it up anyway.
They could rework it, but like again, I don't think I think the Court of Owls only works in a sense of just like Spectre, and that's enough. Like that's enough. But there's such a lore to it that you gotta really, it's a slow burn type of thing, and like you don't really get the full spectacle of it like until like 12 issues. Like it took like a whole year for Scott Snyder to really explain the story.
My main problem with, I think, the whole Catwoman thing that happened in the movie is like, right now I'm hyped for everything that's happening with Penguin, because as for how they handled his character, everything just seemed to blend. Everything that you've talked so far, everything surrounding the mob that happened in the movie kept me awake in the movie. Everything with Falcone, everything that was happening, they described the past with the Falcone case, and then everything happening with the Penguin and him grabbing power. I was awake paying attention with all of that. And despite the fact that even Catwoman, she's the daughter of Falcone, it was just like, with her, I was just like, okay, you go to Bloodhaven at the end, and I'm like, well, what the fuck are you going to do over there? Nightwing's not in this movie. He's not around. It's like, I don't care. Congratulations, piss off.
It was like, a little weird. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you were talking about how he has all this money, and now this dude literally died. You could try to run up on this and get be that you like, because Catwoman, if I recall, maybe I'm thinking about Black Cat, but I think Black Cat becomes a mafia boss towards the end.
Yeah,
but,
in
Catwoman
the
could have had
Spider-Man
all that
games.
money, and like you know, she has the thing about picking up strays and then she ditches all of them to go to Bloodhaven. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, well, Penguin's sticking around and he's going to be running stuff. And well, you talk about your friends here in Gotham, and you had that female friend in Gotham, and you're so worried about her, and you kind of like pretty much abandoned everyone else in Gotham to just piss off to another city.
Yeah.
And the whole romance thing that she had going with Batman, I didn't buy into it at all. And it was kind of weird. It's like
Yeah, I agree.
even in the Nolan series, I wasn't big on the romance going on there with that Catwoman, but I bought into it more there than I did in this movie.
I agree. Yeah.
And when I got out of the cinema, I was there with my mate, and I said, which Catwoman did you like more, the one in the Nolan series or the one here? And he just turned around and he said the one from Batman Returns. He said I didn't like either of them.
Fair enough.
So
you know what?
it's
fair enough, honestly, because
fair
of that, I would say if I would have to guess right away, I'd say Michelle Pfeiffer rocked that one the best. Yeah.
But he turned around and he said it would have been cool instead of her being a nerd who had the transformation, if she was a cat burglar who had the transformation into the 9 Lives powers.
Well, you know, but I definitely feel like this particular Catwoman portrayed the year one Catwoman perfectly. Like Frank Miller would be fairly proud of this adaptation of Catwoman because it was on par, even up to the whole point of her getting butt naked and putting on that cat suit and Batman watching. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is definitely like year one here.
I was just like, come on, you can turn away just for 2 secs, you friggin' pervert. I'm pretty sure you're breaking a crime at this point.
That's a good point. Yeah. But did you like the movie?
At the end of the movie, because my mate knows that I'm highly critical of everything. Out of all my mates, they always stare at me and they're like, "You're the critical asshole out of all of us." And I said, "I'll turn around and give it a 7 out of 10." And my mate agreed with me with it.
That's fair.
He said, well, "Yeah, it's a fair critique out of the friggin' movie," because he goes at 2 hours through the movie, I took my phone out, and he's like, "If we're watching Lord of the Rings or Kingdom of Heaven, and they both go for over 3 hours," he goes, "we never take our phones out," and he goes, "At 2 hours, we're like, shit."
Yep.
And I think one of my big gripes, everyone's praising this movie for the investigation skills, and this is what I'll give it credit. There are times in the movie where the investigation skills are top notch, and I'll praise it. Like, and it's usually times when Batman's going around, he's looking around, it's friggin' great. But then there are times where it's pure plot convenience. It switches from top notch to it just lands in their lap. Like the one scene in the iceberg with Catwoman, she walks in there and the DAs are just talking about the rat. And you're like, why the fuck are they talking about the rat?
Yeah.
They're there supposed to be chilling, having fun, and they're talking about the one piece of information that she just needs. And I'm like, that's a load of shit. I turned around to my mate right next to me and I'm like, I want to go take a piss. I'll come back in a sec. That's a fucking load of shit.
Nah, it's true. It's true. I mean, the idea is that, you know, men will just pour their souls out over a pretty face or whatever. But it is, yeah, I agree. It was like, yo, I literally just met you 30 seconds ago, and now we're about to just talk about like one of the biggest things I'm afraid for my goddamn life. Like, it's like, okay, weird. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
And it wasn't just the DA; it was the entire crew. Like the woman was talking about the rat. All of them were, and I was like,
True.
That's not investigation skills. That was the movie giving away a piece of information.
Actually, Ray makes a good point. They were all really they were high as hell. Like I forgot about that. I don't know what drug they were taking, but they were like something was influencing them to be all like panicky. So yeah. That makes sense. Somewhat. Yeah. Like that. Like I just think it's kind of funny is that Alfred was supposed to kind of be helping with some of these investigations. Like he felt kind of underused, to be honest. Like he only had a few scenes, honestly, in this movie, which was interesting.
The one question concerning casting, and it came down to the Falcone one, and I'm not asking you which one's best. I enjoy both of them, but from the Nolan series and this one, which Falcone did you like better?
Well, both of them. I mean, see, Falcone in Batman Begins, served a better purpose for Batman, and so like
Yeah.
I will forever be indebted to that. That was great. Where this Falcone mainly just served the purpose for Catwoman's story, and now,
Well,
I mean, yes, there was more to it.
Bruce
that he
as
was,
well.
well, yeah, but see, my thing is, it's like they made it such a side plot. It was like, oh, hey, actually, Maroni set it up, and then Bruce is like, damn, you're right. All right, now I'm mad at Alfred, and Alfred's like, what are you talking about? Like, blah blah blah. Oh, you're right. I'm gonna go back to Falcone now. I'm like, what? Like, aren't you
You know
supposed to be a
what?
great detective or something? Like,
To be fair, I wish that Falcone had been like telling the truth. I wish that after he'd heard it from Falcone and he went back to Alfred, I wish it had just been the cold freaking truth, and that Alfred hadn't, corrected him or some shit, and it had just been cold fact,
I agree.
and that he'd been pissed at Alfred. But instead, Alfred corrected him, and it's just like, oh, that
I was
kind of
like,
pissed me
what?
off.
Like, this dude,
Yeah.
he literally woke this dude up from a coma or something. Like, he just survived a bomb attack, and he's just like, you lied to me. And
Yeah.
like I was like, what? So to answer your question, the obviously for me, the Batman Begins one was just better because it was like the whole concept of Batman Begin was using fear, and even everybody, every actor, just there were no wasted lines, and you can still remember to this day. And he's like, he's like, you're taller than you look in the papers, Mr. Wayne. He's like, you didn't have to come down here to thank me. And he's just like his portrayal, and he's just like, and he's like, I could take this gun out and blow your goddamn head right up here, and nobody would care. He's like, look, like his portrayal, he's like, look, you got a DA over here, a judge here. I could take this gun and blow your brains out right now.
Yeah,
and he's just
yeah.
like, and then again, it goes back to the whole concept of fear, the entire movie. And he's like, and people, he said something to the point where you're like, and you fear what you don't understand. And he just looks at him, and that one look, he's just staring at him. He's just like, get him out of here. I love that look so much because it was, to me, that was intimidating. That was a real Falcone, to the point the last time we see him, well, one of the last times we see him, this motherfucker is crucified on the bat signal to make the bat signal. Beautifully done. Beautifully. All of that is beautifully done. So for me, that's the good Falcone.
And I also thought in this movie, when Falcone got taken outside of the iceberg, the only reason he did get shot by the Riddler was because, and it said under the lights, which was part of the riddle.
Yeah.
The only reason he did get shot in that coincidence of a situation is because the Penguin stopped him to get shot. If the Penguin wasn't there and said that whole speech and tried to shoot him, the cops would have just put him in the freaking car. And then the whole riddle would have been pointless.
Possibly. I mean, we don't. Yeah. I mean, it could have been a JFK thing. The Twitch chat would have backed
so
up.
That's circumstances as well.
Right.
But my last critique that I'll put in all of this, the whole the bat chase thing. Obviously, I enjoyed that. Another Penguin scene.
You mean when the Batmobile stalled coming out? But
yeah. The one critique I'll put in that scene, at one point, I actually lost what was happening in the scene because a lot of it was shot on the car level, and I wish they'd actually taken some lessons from The Matrix Reloaded and tried to zoom out so we could actually see where the cars were moving. It was all shot from so damn low, I was struggling to see like where the cars were at certain scenes. So I
mean,
don't
or they could
think
have
that's a
asked somebody
perfect
from
car
Fast and
chase.
Furious. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what my mate said when we got out of the cinema. He said they could have taken some lessons from the Fast and the Furious. I said take
It
some
felt like
lessons.
Dom was driving the car. Yeah.
Yeah, so despite everyone saying, "Oh, that was one of the best Batmobile scenes ever," I'm like, it was
I
great,
mean, it
but
was when I saw it in the trailer, but that was about it, you know?
yeah,
So, because I personally felt like we saw everything in the trailer. So it was basically, we just had a very mediocre or medium sort of action scene that was eventually going to get to the point that we've all seen in the trailer of Batman flying out, and that's exactly how it worked. It was like there was nothing more
Yep.
to it. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
and I got 1% battery left, so I should
All right.
probably cut out.
No, there you go. You're going hard with both the critique and accent. Yeah, that's Australia for you. Yes.
Yeah, that's Australia for you. We're all a bunch of cunts.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Later,
Take
bro.
care, Akasan.
Peace. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah. All right, let's move to the next one. Deshaun, what's up?
Yo, Akasan.
What's up, man?
Yo, you can hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. How you doing?
All right, that's what's up, yo. That's what's up. I was actually just got a new Bluetooth, so I hope it sounds okay. I hope
Yeah, it actually sounds really good, man.
Yo, that's what's up.
So you saw the Batman movie?
Yep. So I saw it once. I saw it with my girlfriend, which was pretty cool, pretty fun. I personally love the movie. I think it's the best Batman movie of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that the movie is, here's where I challenge you. I think the movie is getting sort of a unnecessary kind of like vibe to it because it's new. You know, like for example, when DC Fanboy, shout out to him, yo, because he kind of killed, you know, that shit earlier, yo. He had that shit on that Kanye, on that Slay. You know, but you know, like I liked how uncomfortable he was as Bruce, because DC Fanboy actually took that from me. I could prolong on that if I wanted to, but like it just felt like his skin, his natural skin was Batman to me. Like
Fair enough.
his natural way, his it was natural for him to be Batman. And we can't act like Nolan film was perfect, because it wasn't. The fight scenes in Nolan film, fist fights, were not perfect
True.
at all. They weren't. And sometimes you couldn't see it. And if you pause on certain scenes, you know, Batman kind of looked like a duck at times. I laughed at certain fight scenes in the Nolan shit. And you know, I'm 25, so like I'm kind of in the middle between Gen Z and like what's the other one? Oh, millennials, right?
Right.
Because like millennials are what, 30 something? Millennials are like 30 something, right?
Right. Something like that, yeah.
I think 35 and under, 36 and under, something like that. Whatever, man. But like, I don't know when people got the idea that Nolan was the gold standard for fight scenes. And like, if you talk about
No. Well, let me correct you with that real quick. Like, no, Nolan has never been the gold standard for fight scenes. Even the most hardcore TDK fan will be like, "Yo, his fight scenes are whack." Like, we've all said that. We've always said that he needs to get a second director for action scenes. Yeah.
That hallway scene. I mean, what'd you think about that hallway scene with the shooting in the movie? Like when he was taking them down in the dark. Was you impressed by that, or was you like, eh? I thought that was lit. Like it felt real. The bullets. I was actually almost kind of squirming at times because I was like,
part of me enjoyed it. Part of me enjoyed it. The second part of me was like, well, I saw the main part in the trailer, so yeah.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Akasan.
I saw part of me enjoyed it. The other part of me was like, okay, well, we saw the main part in the trailer, and I think that was one of the biggest things. Is like almost every big scene, with the except the third act, we saw all of them in the trailers. So, and it's not like they were hiding anything more to that. So I
Yeah.
felt like that hallway scene could have been more, but we saw the most important part where him taking some of that point blank in the stomach, and that was it. So yeah.
But
Yeah.
didn't in the Nolan trilogy, weren't there times where Batman took on bullets? I haven't seen the Nolan trilogy in like maybe 5 years, so I'm
The whole
kind of
thing was
blurry. But
so with his was with Batman, no. The whole thing
oh,
was like
okay,
it wasn't, his suit was not bulletproof, but it was somewhat bulletproof, as Lucius said, anything but a straight shot. So that was the whole thing, was once Harvey Dent shot him point blank, that's why he essentially had to retire for like 8 years. Or no, it was that. No, I'm sorry, it's not necessarily that, but I think it was the actual fall that did him in and busted up his leg like that.
I
Yeah.
also think this is you know, I gotta be honest, this is the best first Batman movie.
Okay.
I mean, this is better than Batman Begins.
Okay. If that's how you feel, sure.
It is how I feel. Like,
No,
that's
which
what
is fine.
that's what I
You're
said.
totally
That's what I
entitled to
said.
that opinion. I would completely disagree, but by all means, yeah.
Well, what I say about this is the evolution of Batman. Like, I heard you also kind of saying you wasn't really feeling how, you know, Riddler was like this Twitch kind of guy, but like that, but that's what Anonymous is today, right? Like that group Anonymous, like
Right.
that's what they are today. That's what
But also,
audience.
Anonymous isn't going to be out here saying, "I want to thank everybody for the fans and all the donations and subscribers." Like, Anonymous doesn't come up like that either.
Yeah, I guess so. I
That's
guess
what
that
sold
point.
me. I was like,
I guess to that
Anonymous isn't
point
up
there.
here like saying that they're Guy Vendetti, V for Vendetta mask. They're not up here saying, "Hey
Right.
everyone, thanks so much. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe." You know, so. But
Right.
that's just me. But I get where it's a relatable movie for the new generation, and that's fine. So for me, it just was maybe because of the fact that every day I deal with those kind of comments and situations with YouTube and Twitch, that I was like, okay, that's a little
Right.
too real for me. Like,
Right.
yeah,
True. Because you got a unique perspective. Like you basically famous. So it's like it's a different kind of world you live in.
yeah,
Where
maybe that's what
I
it
don't
is.
live in that world. Like I grew up boxing and getting my ass kicked a lot.
I got you. I
Winning
mean, I feel like
matches,
every
losing
day I'm taking
matches.
calls from the. I potentially could be taking calls from a Riddler every day. So you know, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but you're definitely excited for the for a sequel.
Listen, man, I think that we could get a good trilogy of this. Like, I think that this could possibly be like the best trilogy, or should I say the next thing? Like,
I could
every
see that. No,
generation has their
that's
own
fine. That's
thing. You
fine.
know what I mean?
It
Like,
definitely has potential for that growth. That's for sure. Yeah.
yeah, like I think every generation kind of has their own feelings. Like my parents, you know, they you know, my grandparents, nobody's better than James Brown or Little Richard. Like
For
nobody.
sure. For sure.
But then the next generation is like, oh, that's Mike and Prince to them. Like, nah, they the best. But then my generation is like, oh, it's Chris Brown and Bruno. Like, they the best. So, you know, like, I just hope that they just give. You not liking Batman, son. I mean, well, not liking it, but you being like semi okay with this movie. It does, though. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I disagree with you, it does put like a question in my head only because you are such like you got the spirit of Batman. So for
Right.
you to be like, I'm not sure, or I gotta watch it a second time just to make sure, that does put a question in my head.
No, you're right. I mean, I was hella like I'm shocked at myself, because I thought, like, from the beginning with the trailer, with the movie is goddamn, it literally is my colors, red and black, and I thought it was gonna,
Yeah.
like, it had themes of the animated series, and then the fact that they used Vengeance instead of Batman, I was like, yo, I felt like, and then Matt Reeves, his Apes movies are some of the best movies I've ever seen. I literally just watched them the other day, and from the beginning when he was talking
He
about
got movies
Batman, I'm
about
like, okay,
monkeys.
this guy gets it, but I don't know. It just did not.
Right.
It did not connect with me, and I'm actually disappointed in myself that I'm not ecstatic over this movie. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I was in the theaters, and even with my girlfriend, I was thinking to myself, like, if Aka don't like this, then it's gonna be different for me. It's gonna be like, there might be something actually missing in this, even though I love it. There might, because I'm not gonna lie, man, still, like, you are the spirit of Batman to me. So, like, your opinion do matter. Like, it do matter. And I
I
was
appreciate that.
in the theater, just sitting with my girl, and like I told you, I had problems with her. Like, I still got problems with her. Like, she was fiending after Robert Pattinson in the movie, and her twinkle was twitching and stuff like that. I don't want to be vulgar, so I don't want to say any like crazy words that'll get you demonetized. But sorry, I'm getting emotional. My bad.
It's all good, man. Well, right
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to the sequel and things like that. Sounds
Hell
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. And I just want to say to everybody before I end the stream and all, the world's wild, but you got to keep hope. And the only reason why you got to keep hope, not for some cheesy shit, the only reason you got to keep hope alive is because the world's been worse before, yo. And new generations change shit. And we all Batman. And, like, just because I have a problem with my girl going after fictional characters.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, hang in there, man. And he hung up. Yeah. Always a pleasure to hear from Deshaun. Yeah. What did I say earlier about taking calls from Riddlers and things like that? Yeah. Like, nah. Deshaun's he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Just having the confidence to call in and do not lie. So speaking of which, so remember, so the thing I was gonna say was, hold on. There's a dude by the name of Ask a Gangsta. The moment Riddler came up here doing his thing, dude, I was like, bro, like, I was like, yo, this Ask a Gangsta is a guy with like 2 million subscribers or something like that. He doesn't post as much anymore, but dude, um, that the Riddler totally reminded me of this. Was just like, this guy has never shown his face, wearing glasses. I was just like, okay. I was like, all right, it's basically Riddler, dude. Like, it's all right. It's the Riddler is basically copying Aska Gangsta, and I was like, all right, cool. The moment he was like, hey everybody, yeah, it's not me. It's not me. Yeah, if you want to see more of his stuff, it's right here. Ask Gangsta. 1.22 million subscribers. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Whew. Keep pushing, baby. Keep pushing. Yeah, I didn't hang up on him. Damn it. You guys said something like that. Maybe try watching it a second time. Your first viewing was under difficult circumstances. Yeah. I'm gonna try. Like, it's just, dude, that 3-hour runtime was just like, oh my god. I really want to watch it and like check that shit out at home or something. I don't know, dude. I do not like theaters anymore. I like, it's nice to have a good sound or whatever, but I'm just like, yo, I want to hit the pause button, go pee or something, come back to that. Like, I just don't think stories are as engaging as they once were. And I think this particular movie shows that. Dune. Hold on a second. I'll be back. What the hell? Something big arrived. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Ashu. What's up, man?
Hey brother, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good. So before I start with my review, I just want to show this so that a lot of you'll know that I grew up with The Dark Knight, and Christian Bale is my Batman that I grew up with.
Awesome.
And for all of you, the reason I'm a filmmaker right now is because of this motherfucker right here. So like, I'm just pointing that out right there before all y'all in the comment section start to roast me. Um, I I'll admit, first time watching it in IMAX, I did have that like gut reaction. Oh, it's a masterpiece! It's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece! Like I was blown away. And then I watched it again in like a regular format, and then I'll admit I liked it, but it's actually way better to watch at home. And since you were talking about watching it at home, next month, I think on April 19th, it's supposed to be coming out on HBO Max, I've heard. So if you want to just wait like another month to just watch it at home, I would personally recommend it instead of going to the movie theater, because movie theater sucks. People won't shut up.
Yep.
I had 3 people on their phones the first time I was watching it. Second time I was watching it, I had a person in front of me taking pictures of that whole like Batman versus Catwoman fight scene, and that whole like little devil walking up towards the penguin, and she was
Yep.
taking a picture with the flash on.
And this was
Like,
opening weekend, right?
yeah, this was opening weekend, and I just went to go see it again like a couple of days later.
That's
so,
insane.
like,
Now, can I? Is this a? Because I don't think you're. Where are you living? You're in the States, right?
your boy lives in Gotham City, dog. I'm in
Yeah, New York.
Chicago.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay, that Gotham City. Nolan's Gotham City. Yeah, I got it. All right,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Like, so, but here's another argument I would say: if the movie was really good, if the movie was that engaging, people wouldn't resort to that. I personally feel, but maybe that's also this day and age. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's that day and age, and this goes for like any movie that I've seen, like in the movie theater. It's just people that are just on their cell phones, especially if people are like, "This movie doesn't appeal to me." It's not even like a comic book movie. It's just any movie nowadays. You're gonna have people that are on their phone, just either texting at their friends or just calling people, or you have people like freaking talking behind you, so like having their like little conversations, and it's just like you want to be able to go up there and tell them to shut the fuck up, but you just can't.
Yep.
So like,
It's really
what can
weird.
you do? Like in this day and age, you got the
but I also
pandemic.
feel like if it's like really good, but no, I even think back to like the first viewing of like midnight theater for The Dark Knight. Ironically, the first time I saw The Dark Knight, um, I forgot who he was. Oh, he was the lawyer representing Lau. He's like, "Are you threatening my client?" And then later, I think that's the same guy on the boat with the criminals or something like that. No. He's with the citizens and he has the trigger. He's like, "Hey, nobody wants to be a hero and nobody wants to get their hands bloody." I literally was sitting next to
Oh,
that dude behind me in Culver City, because like when he showed up, his kids were like, "Daddy, it's you." And I'm like, "Oh shit." Oh, like that. So I got really lucky, but the third showing or fifth showing, I think I saw The Dark Knight like 7 times in theaters. Ironically, one of them, The Game, the rapper, was with me when watching it. The what you were saying, it's like people were talking. Some girl that I was dating was just like talking about Maggie Gyllenhaal's takes, and she's like, "God, she looks so tired." It was really funny, but yeah. Anyways, so for you, you feel like watching it at home is probably better at this point?
yeah, for someone like you that maybe like this type of movie is not worth watching at a movie theater, I definitely think watching it at home by yourself without any like outside noise, I think that would probably be better for you, because it's like a slow paced movie. You can pause it, leave for like a certain period of time, and then like just come back and watch it again. And then,
Yeah, I think respectfully, like Dune, it's just not that engaging.
yeah,
I personally
yeah,
feel so. I say the same thing about Zack Snyder's movies. Is like if I watch the Snyder cut in doses, I probably would have enjoyed it more because like, but I think with Zack Snyder, it's actually funny because his movies are, it's too much. It's too intense at times that a 3-hour or 4-hour cut, I'm just burnt out. Like, even though the BVS, the warehouse scene is action packed, I'm just so tired from everything else that was going on in the rest of the movie that the time we get to that point, I'm just like, I'm out of emotion for that. So I feel like, yeah, watching it in doses might be better. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially for like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder initially said he wanted to do an HBO Max series because he understood, like, making it a long 4-hour movie. Nobody's gonna sit for that long, and that's why he had the part so that people can just stop there and take a piss or do whatever and just come back. And I think they should have, like, this is me, but they should have had like an intermission at like the point of the movie, like maybe where like Batman gets taken by the cops. They could have just had like an intermission right there, like a good 10-15 minutes in the movie theaters.
I mean, the problem with that is that, as you and I both know, if people can't even focus or people are taking photos of their thing like that, like this movie, I just don't think that movie is that kind of a standard to have intermission. Like a 10-minute intermission really means a 20-minute thing for everybody to get settled because somebody's going to piss and then be coming in late again. So it's going to take a while to get back and engaged into the movie. So yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. And I get it.
And just to like speak on the movie, I'll just like keep my points brief on there. I love the cinematography. I think Greg Fraser should get a nomination, like whatever award show. It doesn't have to be Academy, just any award show. I feel like he should get a nomination for the cinematography. I love the score. Melosis by Hans Zimmer, James Newton Howard is still going to be one of my favorite scores ever. I have that on my phone and I just play that wherever I'm on a highway, just like driving to somewhere. I just blast that shit at like 10 volume, just
screaming Rachel, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Rachel. Yeah,
but like as far as like the characters go, I dig Robert Pattinson. You have a lot of the eyes.
Wait, hold on before I forget. Tell me one other iconic song or piece from the movie that isn't the Batman theme song, because I honestly cannot remember it. Like Catwoman had something, but I don't think it's iconic.
I think there was two. There was one where the Batman versus Catwoman fight scene. You have the sound dun, 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 where like she's being the thief and trying to steal.
Right.
And then there's another one where I think this is one it's like,
see, so that this is my point. It's like you're telling me the soundtrack was amazing, but you can't even say anything other than dun 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 dun. I'm like, come on now,
bro. That, and they literally used the Catwoman theme every time they were like together, like da-da, da-da,
right,
da-da, and the whole Riddler theme. And then there was another one where like
sorry, I'm just an intermission.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
Opportunity to leave the theater.
Bro, honestly,
yo, I'm not gonna lie. Like if I knew what I knew about that with the Riddler, maybe after the Falcone thing, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Beat traffic.
And like another thing I want to talk about, and you did bring up a good point about like Gotham. I like making Gotham feel like a character in and of itself, and so that's why I like the 89's Gotham a lot more. I wish they showed more like this version of Gotham, like the beginning of the movie where you got to see like all this flashy lights and these like different type of buildings. I kind of like that about Gotham. I wish they showed more of that instead of it being like
so close. All they needed to do was just give it the Arkham City, Arkham games look. They were so close to actually giving like a very Gothamish feel, but they just went back on. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, it was just
that movie had a bigger budget than Black Widow, and it doesn't show.
It was just not Maverick's focus really. It was
it's weird.
Yeah, and it's weird because he says multiple times that he's a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
So like you see a lot of like different iteration, different various like pieces from different Batman comics. Like at the end, it kind of felt similar to No Man's Land, where you have all of Gotham flooded. Like
Yeah,
so,
I agree. Like
you
it,
can,
it has. It was so close, but I don't know. For the way this dude, I know, and it's not his fault. I mean, he was hyping, he wasn't really hyping himself up, but Warner Brothers knew we got to get Batman back on track. But I was just like, damn, man. Uh, After 2 fandoms, and I'm just like, wait, that's what you delivered? I don't know. I was trying not to overhype myself, but I just thought that Matt Reeves was going to be. I thought me and Matt Reeves were going to be a little bit more on the same page, and
yeah, like same here, man. Like after
Yeah.
that first trailer, I'm like, okay, Matt Reeves, I can maybe get behind you, but I'm like, you're good, like you're good, like
yeah,
I
it was
would
okay.
definitely-
It was all right. It was.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, Dawn is still your best movie. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is still your best movie, and
Yeah.
I'll still say it to this day. Caesar, Andy Serkis's Caesar is somewhat of a better Batman than Batman was. So, like he was more intimidating than Batman was. Like,
And it's nothing to knock on Robert Pattinson. It's just like
right.
he's not there yet.
I agree.
really just can say that he's just not there yet.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree. Some of the
we need
shots
to see
were
more.
beautiful, but yeah, he's still growing to become a Batman. But I'm not necessarily. I don't know. I guess it's the kind of Tom Holland route right now. It's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
like okay, maybe I don't like him now, but hopefully by the second
hopefully.
movie or third movie, he'll become like a believable Batman to me, I guess.
Yeah, let's hope that it does happen.
I hope so, man. All right, anything else?
No, that's about it.
All right, man. I appreciate you calling, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too, brother. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, man. Take care. Peace. All right. Woof. Something. Batman's most important character trait isn't being intimidating. The things that this movie nailed about the character are far more important to who Batman is. I would say no. I would disagree about that, actually. That's one of the things about, I would say no. I would disagree because, like, that's the whole thing when you look at it on a larger scale of like, it's Batman. Gotham influenced who Batman became, the kind of hero that Batman would be, right? Whereas Metropolis shows what type of person Superman is, or Superman helps push Metropolis to that next level. So it's kind of like, Gotham's a sick and twisted place with twisted heroes and twisted villains, and I'm just not big on that whole sort of follow me into the light messiah type shit with Batman. Like, nah, like, yeah, no. I get where I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like that should be something way, way further into Batman's career, where people kind of get behind him. If like this is like his second year, everybody should be afraid of him. People literally should think he's a vampire or something like that, like he's drinking blood and all this other shit, so that's my personal take on it. Like, and I'm not saying that as a Nolan fan, but I definitely feel like they handled that a lot more. Like when Batman comes down, even Snyder got that right. When Batman comes down, like it should be like this fucking gothic, like creature type of thing, dude. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But he looked like somebody cosplaying. He looked Batman, and I'm not trying to disrespect Pattinson, but that dude looked closer to the copycats in the Dark Knight than the actual Batman, dude. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Oh my god, dude. Okay, let's go with the Last Son here. What's up?
Yeah. What's
Yep,
up,
yep.
Akasan?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. How you been, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just hearing. Everybody's coming with their wild takes and such. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Miles,
yeah.
what's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Tell
I'm
me,
good. I'm
what did you
good.
think, the Batman?
Keep it real with you. I really enjoyed it, but
Good.
a lot of people speaking this nonsense saying, "Oh, it's better than The Dark Knight." No, stop it. Stop the cap. It's not on that level. I don't even think it's better than Batman Begins. But
Thank
for
you.
me,
Thank you. I'm like,
for
people are
me,
trying to have people are having this. I mean, ironically, they skip Batfleck, but people are having
right.
this conversation about is it better than TDK? I'm like, yo, it's not even better than Batman Begins.
Yeah, like come on. Because here's the thing, Batman Begins, I feel had a more understanding of the character, and I get it. Matt Reeves his take is different, but I felt more drawn to Christopher Nolan's take. So,
You learn
but don't get me
everything
wrong.
about Batman. You learn everything you need to know about Bruce Wayne, Alfred, Lucius Fox, Rachel in 45, Henry Ducard, the League of Assassins in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
You get
yeah,
more
like
character development in 45 minutes, and Batman hasn't even showed up on the screen yet than you
yeah,
do in a 3-hour Batman movie. But
yeah. But don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie. I liked
yes.
it, but when it comes to people saying it's better than Batman Begins, I'm like, okay, don't go that far. You're getting a little crazy. But for me, I really enjoyed the film. I liked the interpretation Robert Pattinson gave, but all in all, I felt like it was like a little off, if you can catch my
Yeah.
drift. Because like when he was walking around and he was just like stuff like that. Like when you walk around, Batman, he doesn't just look at stuff. He starts like really asking questions, and he's not like just looking like he's like that one perpetrator in the room everyone's trying to single out. Usually when Batman steps into a room, he's like, all right, what's going on, tell me the situation, and we're gonna get this done. He does that in a few times in the movie, like when they go start looking for the thumb drive and stuff like that. I liked that part. That felt like Batman to me, like when he's, figuring out all the hidden parts of the car and he finds it and all that. I enjoyed that scene. But for movie overall, I enjoyed it, but I sort of felt like they could have did a lot more with this character because if anything, I feel like he took a back seat to other characters,
Oh
to be
wow.
honest.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
cause here's the thing, if you really think about it, Selena got probably one of like the biggest main parts of the movie with even her father. And
And she
then
did instigate a lot of the story. She pushed the story
yeah,
more. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
literally
Go ahead.
without Batman going to help her find her friend, he would be lost. He wouldn't know where to start,
That's a good point.
like at all. So I definitely feel like Selena Loki took over the movie in some parts, if you can look at it that way. But as far as like casting and everything, I feel like casting was pretty good. I don't think they had a problem with that. But yeah, it just it fell short on a few things for me. But I did really like the film. But as far as a comic book movie, it's up there for me personally. It's up there, but for Batman movie, it's a little lower.
Oh wow.
So
Oh wow.
like, cause like
Interesting. That's very
yeah,
different than what some people are saying. Yeah.
yeah, no, cause here's the thing, comic book movies, they explore different tales of different characters, but we're talking about Batman. We're talking about strictly Batman movies following, because when you go into that, you're following his story. And I was when he was fighting, I'm like, all right. I went to see with my cousin, right? And when he was fighting those guys, I was like, wait a minute. Is he trained by the League of Assassins or not? I'm confused. I was like,
Right.
I was so confused because it was more like a brawler type feel when he would fight. He just taking all these hits instead of like usually he'd be able to dodge them
Yeah, he
or he'd
was
be able to
tanking him
counter him.
basically.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
like
Like,
level 2 of Elden Ring or something like that. Coming up there. This dude
yeah,
has no buffer right now.
right, exactly. And I was just like, okay, so and that to me, I was watching the stream earlier, like I totally agree. The League of Assassins and all that, that's such a big part of Bruce and his training and where he learned to get the confidence to go out into this world of learning how to
But
presume.
again, clarification though, that's in Nolan's world. That's the thing. So,
Yeah,
but for a lot of people, that's their definitive, or that's their starting point. Batman, But
mm,
Batman has trained around the world. He's trained with different people. Like, there's a great story where he actually went to India and studied with somebody, learning how to deal with pain and how how to learn how to deal mentally with getting
yeah,
stabbed and shot and
hmm,
things like that, and how to
right,
deal with getting poisoned and all that. So
hmm,
but yeah, in the Nolan world, it's the League of Assassins, but the fact of the matter is he's been trained by Lady Shiva, which I mean,
yep,
technically,
yep,
yeah, League of Assassins, but
yeah, right, right, right,
uh,
yeah,
I mean, David Kane and things like that. So there are, but
mm,
yeah, he should be having a lot more training than just Alfred. Now, from what I've learned in this stream, Matt
right.
Reeves said the only person that has actually trained him is Alfred. To me, I find so many plot holes with that.
Hmm. Like, what
What?
did he do? Where did he go? Like,
No, but he
you tell
didn't.
me.
That's apparently apparently to the chat. According to the
Hmm.
chat, the only person that trained Bruce Wayne was Alfred. And I get that Alfred might have military training, but here's my thing: is like,
Right.
if Alfred's supposed to be like a surrogate father to him, the last thing he
Mm,
would do is train him to go out. Oh, wait, you
exactly.
want to put your life on the line like that? Let me
Right.
train you? No,
Yeah.
no, come on
Yeah.
now. Like,
Like
you think
that's
Thomas
definitely
Wayne would want that? Like, yeah,
no.
Alfred, teach my child to become a fighter like that.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
no.
and the first thing, and here's the thing. I'm going back to Christopher Nolan's version. The first thing Alfred was like, he was like, "Is this what you're gonna do with your life? You're gonna keep just going as this bat vigilante and not caring about any other parts of your life? I want you to have a life type thing." And they explored that a little bit, and
Yep.
then they capped it off finally in Dark Knight Rises. So it's just like, I didn't feel that like surrogate father vibe from Alfred in this movie. I felt like he was more of a just like a person who would just be there. He's just there, to be honest. Like
And
he didn't really.
that's honestly how he was in the movie. Like, he was kind of
Yeah.
helping. It looks like they actually cut a whole subplot out with the whole thing where like the investors were coming to the Wayne house, and then
Hmm.
there was just that random woman that
Woman,
was there as
yeah, the random old
well.
lady. Yeah. Like
Where her
I
her
and
sole purpose was to be introduced just so she could have a scene where she answered the phone, basically. I was like,
right,
all right,
and it'd be
yeah.
like, yeah. So, but I honestly, and like I said, I enjoyed the movie, but I feel like I'm not gonna lie. When I first watched it, my initial reaction was like, "Oh my god, I love this film!" Like, "Oh my god!" And then I got back home, and I was still thinking that. A couple days later, though, after I like processed everything, I was like, "But wait, this doesn't." But in this, and I started like figuring out all the little things that kind of had me pause for a second.
I got
So
you.
I honestly didn't like it as much as I did my initial reaction coming out of the theater. But I still liked it. I feel like it was a good film.
And you would want you'd be excited for more though, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely am excited for
Okay.
more because I definitely do think that world that they set him in is definitely room for improvement and definitely like room to like grow as far as when it comes to the character. And if they're doing, like you mentioned with the person before, if they're doing like the Tom Holland route where it's like, at a slower pace in about 3 movies, he'll like finally get there. I guess I'm okay with that.
Right?
I just hope that in the second movie they're not so lackadaisical about giving more plot to Bruce Wayne and Batman, just all that.
Or
I
to
feel like
anybody else, to be honest.
right,
Like,
right, right. Like,
like,
come on, like,
to anybody
I,
else. I mean, the Batman. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the Batman I don't know how to explain it without people getting confused, but the Batman animated series, not the
Mhm.
old school Batman the animated series, but the one where
Mhm.
he's in year 3, the
Mhm.
one with the dreadlock Joker story. It's
Sure.
actually pretty damn good, and it's so slept on because it's not the
Mhm.
Kevin Conroy Batman, but it was
Mhm.
so in between. It was in between BTSA and the Brave and the Bold. It was this short little, it was actually like a 3-year animated series, but it's done so well. It's actually really well done,
Hmm.
particularly because Batman just does like this Black Panther thing
Yeah, right.
occasionally, and has
Okay.
claws come out, but it's done in such a well situated thing. I'm telling you, one of my favorite Batman movies is actually
Mhm.
Batman versus Dracula, because his Bruce
Mhm.
is solid, his Batman is solid, and he's out here just fighting criminals, and he's like, oh, these criminals are getting stronger.
Oh wait, shoot! I'm sorry, but dang it, I just remember you talk. I know what cartoon you're talking about. That's
Yep.
like one of my favorite Batman cartoons of all time. Yes, I
Yep.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
I think if they took a bigger influence, or if they took influence from that show,
Mhm.
I think you can really have an element of more of a cool Batman, basically.
Yeah, because
So
I feel like that's where they were going with it to
yeah,
begin with. Because like even like the tone of it, like you can look at all the other Batman voices and everything. I feel like even the tone of the voice in the cartoon, the Batman, it was like it wasn't like a deep voice. It was like his regular voice, but altered a little bit. And that's basically
correct.
what Robert Pattinson's is as well. It's not like super deep. It's like his voice. Actually, it's basically his voice throughout the whole film because practically
Basically, yes.
basically is because we barely got that's it. Yep, right
Yeah,
there.
this was
Yep.
2000. I'm just gonna, from this point
2004,
on,
I
guys, I'm gonna
think.
call it the 2004 animated series. Like, it is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pretty damn, like, it gets
It's
slept on.
amazing.
It gets slept on so much because it just came at a time where it wasn't the definitive animated series, but and Joker with
Yeah,
dreadlocks. But yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah. Like,
yeah,
man, like
but this was such a cool
it would,
series. Like,
yeah. I
yeah,
love that. I love that series. I rewatched it at least 4 times. It actually, I think it has 5 seasons. Actually,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
somewhere around there. But
yeah.
no, yeah, definitely. I feel like I totally agree. If they took like some influence from that it
I
would be
feel
a
like it
lot.
was there. Like, I was kind of hoping it would be, but like,
Mm.
yeah, I hope in the sequel, if just give me more of a confident Batman, and because if you have the detective skills, he's doing a detective work, but he looked kind of dumb half the time, especially getting La and Ah and La together like that, like mixed
Yeah,
up. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, L and Law. I mean,
I'm
like, come
like,
on, like,
bro, especially if
like.
you're supposed to be from pseudo New York, yeah, you should know a little
Mhm.
bit more Spanish. Yeah, so
Yeah, come on, L and Law. I mean, I took Spanish for 3 years and I know that shit. I mean, like, come
right, right,
on, man.
right, 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 right.
Like,
So
yeah, like
yeah,
it's definitely like a few moments where you could really think like, okay, is he supposed to really be this dumb in these
yeah.
moments? Like, you're
Justice,
claiming to.
it's the justice. Yeah, it's like,
Right,
okay,
right. But like I honestly could have felt entirely different if when he explored the one riddle when he was going through all the I can't speak riddlers things in his apartment and stuff. I felt like when he went through all that, it could have been better when he if he would have just really uncovered it using some of his actual tech. I feel like that tech is something a lot of people don't really realize is important because he used a few times, like with the contacts or whatever. And but I honestly feel like if he would have like created some bat tech to really unveil the truth about what Riddler was doing instead of just like rummaging through all this stuff, I kind of like that feel of Batman
I feel
better
like
because.
what was missing, because the thing is, like I said, if I read a comic version of it, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot, because it would have had
Mm,
that particular thing that is overlooked a lot with Batman's comic version of Batman, is his
mm,
narration is done mentally, obviously, and it's done with
Yeah.
like cursive writing, which is also very unique to the Detective Comics and
Mhm.
Batman stories, pen and paper, because that shows like the Sherlock Holmes style of things. Like, you know, if he doesn't have a Watson, if he doesn't have like an Alfred that he could talk to, which I felt like Alfred was right there. Literally, Batman could be talking to Alfred, giving the
Mhm.
exposition of a crime scene or whatever like that.
Yeah.
The animated series has the OG, the Kevin Conroy animated series has shown Batman walking around with a pocket recorder sometimes, talking to himself, getting fragments like that, talking to the
Mhm.
Bat computer like that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that was kind of missing to kind of show just how smart Batman really is. When that
Exactly.
when those riddles were coming up, the only thing we saw was just Batman telling the victim like, justice, say justice. And I'm like,
Right. Right.
okay,
Yeah.
like,
Like okay, you know
did you
this, but
just
like.
did you just wiki that up real quick, right?
You just Google it instantly. Like,
Right,
oh,
right,
okay,
right.
but
So
like,
yeah.
where are you
So
getting this from?
some of that would have helped if we saw the evolution of them like thinking it through. And you are correct in the fact that the biggest nods, like the only time Batman got it himself was the URL thing. That was it.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
every other thing, I think everybody else solved for him, basically.
Yeah, pretty
Even
much.
Catwoman was like, "Look, I just dragged this dirty ass cop up here, like here. I got the confession and everything right here." It's like, yo,
And
so
then literally Penguin solved the El Rata whole thing. Like, hey, and speaking of the Penguin, side note, I loved Colin Farrell's
he
Penguin
did a
though.
good job.
He did a pretty good job, and that whole interrogation scene was so funny.
Yep,
I'm not
he got a
gonna
good
lie.
job.
Yeah, that
Awesome,
was
dude.
really
Well,
good.
thank you, Last Son, for calling in. Appreciate
Oh
that.
yeah, of course, anytime,
Yeah,
man. And thank you for having me on.
yeah. Disney, the Marvel didn't contact you yet for Miles?
Not yet, but I uploaded a couple more videos.
Everything just got completely cut out. See, that's the problem. I can't be talking about Disney. Can't be talking about Disney on a Warner Brothers chat. They just edit you completely out. It's okay. Just go ahead, leave a link in the chat, and we'll post it up, man. Okay. Like, damn. All right. Well, later, Miles. All right, later, bro. All right. Damn, we lost them. The moment he started plugging it. What's up, Marta? You want to get in here really quick? You want to I got to start my class in 10 minutes here. So that's why I was like, okay, if Marta wants to come in real quick and say something, I'll let her say it, because I know she really wanted to be part of that. I'd rather like her just take over. That'd be great. Like, then I can disappear for 40 minutes and you guys can have a conversation with her. But yeah, like hold on. Marta, how am I gonna get this to you? Let me send you let me just email it to you. I'll email you the thing. Because if I put it in the chat, people are gonna flood the chat again. So that doesn't work either. All right, I'll just put it in the chat. I'm only accepting Marta, guys, so don't join. Yeah. I'm just accepting Marta so that we could cap off this conversation, and we'll be done after that. Yeah. Aka wouldn't be a Batman movie without one black man who doesn't like it. Oh my god. Marta. Yeah, the Batman was really good, guys. Definitely make sure you checks this story out, dude. It's really, yeah, Disney really kicked you out, man. This is such a, like, I'm telling you, like you know what would be dope? A Batman movie done by Sam Raimi, or James Wan or something like that. Like a Man Bat story would be fucking dope, dude. All right.
Hi.
What's up, Marta?
Like that.
Oh, hold on a second. I think am I hearing an echo?
Yeah, you got to mute the actual stream.
All right.
Oh, oops. Hi. Hi, twice.
You good?
What's up? Yeah,
What's
I'm so
up?
sorry. I would have joined sooner, but I was studying and then I accidentally
I
took an
understand.
accidental nap. So
It's all good. Tell me what did you think about the movie?
oh my god, I loved it. Number one,
Yes.
I really loved it. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just looking for. I like have no makeup on. I look like a hot mess because I just woke up.
Just put a Riddler mask on. You got the glasses already.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody. Yeah.
Okay, loved the movie. Saw it on Sunday. I know you and I talked a little bit about it over the weekend after we streamed. Let's see. I think have you talked about New York yet?
Yeah, we did.
As a character? Okay, so I'm gonna jump in on that little subject there.
Go for it.
So my friends and I, we went to go see it together. And my two friends, my best friend and her fiance, they are like super, super mega comic nerds. Like way, like they have so much knowledge. They're like you. They're really, really, really knowledgeable. They used to work at St. Mark's Comics for like many, many years and stuff. So they're like mega nerds, comic nerds. So they know a lot of they know all the Batman stuff, everything. They have to know it in order to sell it. And so one of the first things that happened when we left the theater was we started talking about Gotham and how it felt like to us as native New Yorkers, born and raised, that this was like one of the first movies in a really long time that did not feel like New York. And I know that's super
Which is crazy.
controversial, and I know that you and I disagree because
Yeah.
you know we've talked a little bit about that before. But yeah, I get the perspective of like, oh, you see like something like a Madison Square Garden, you see a Times Square, but as like I feel like as a New Yorker, and I can't speak for all New Yorkers, but from our perspective, um, it didn't feel like it because number one, Times Square was super inaccurate in terms of like the spacing and the way the vehicle kind of curved down, like just like geographically look different. Billboards, yeah, sure, but there's like electric billboards everywhere now. There's electric billboards in Japan and just all over the world. So like it could be any place. And then they had like this giant statue in the middle. I was like, that's definitely not Times Square. And then it just had like everything like covered with like Gotham related advertisements and stuff like that. So it took me out of like there was a moment of like, is that Times Square? Like, did they fuck it up? Is that Times Square? But it's not. It was Gotham for me. And then the Madison Square Garden building, yeah, it kind of looked like the outside of Madison Square Garden a little bit, but it said Gotham, what is it? Gotham Square Garden or something
Yeah, it was
like
Gotham Square Garden or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so like my thought was it kind of looks like Madison Square Garden, but like every city has a freaking stadium dome now that they're like renovating and they all look the same. So really
Okay.
it could be anything. And the fact that it had Gotham on it and not mistakenly Madison Square Garden was like what brought me out. And I think it's in part because I don't look at those places as like anything special. They're not like my favorite pizza spot is right behind Madison Square Garden. Like it's no big deal to me. Times Square, no big deal to me. I'm like I grew up to it and it's not iconic to me. I kind of try to avoid Madison Square Garden, although I used to go down there a lot when I was a kid to play DDR at some of the arcades over there. That was like a hidden gem over there. But yeah, it didn't feel we all walked away saying it didn't feel like New York City. There was so much like Gotham propaganda everywhere, advertisements and like little things that just everywhere said Gotham that it we compared it to the Tim Burton world of Gotham, right? If I'm correct, it's Tim
Yeah,
Burton.
you're right. You're
Like
correct.
Batman and Robin, I think like they're if I remember correctly, that the way they set up that world in Gotham,
Really?
like you had because the Batman movies, the earlier Batman movies, are all kind of like a blur. Because I've just watched them so many times as a kid.
So you think the level of Gotham was as independent as Tim Burton's Batman's?
I would say yes, it's comparable. Yeah. For
Okay.
me.
Well, Batman and Robin was actually done by Joel Schumacher, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's like it was like the movies where they had like their own custom like made sets, custom made
Yeah,
buildings.
yeah. So that was Batman, the first Batman movie.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, they didn't like film it in like Vancouver or something like that.
Okay.
And
No,
the
they
other
did
thing
not.
too is there are a lot of locations that it seemed like they filmed that didn't like the elevated train platform. Like I know a lot of people will think that's New York, but like that doesn't look like anything like New York. Like
Okay.
that
Wait, are we talking about the latest movie? Or are you talking about
yeah,
Nolan?
no, the
Oh,
latest
okay.
movie, the latest movie where there's that whole scene on the
Oh,
outdoor
okay,
train
okay.
platform, and like the clown cronies or whatever they
Right,
are.
right,
They're
right.
trying to, induct their little newbie crony, little newbie henchman. But yeah, that I thought they were really successul.
That's
And
cool.
so
And
you're
yeah,
like,
so
yeah.
also because we're pressed on time because I have a class, unless you want to take over on this. If you, I wonder if they would even allow you to. That might, maybe. Anyways, maybe. We can try. But what I was gonna say was, you wanted to talk about the noir style.
Oh, yes, yes. So I'm in a film noir class right now in school. And while I would not consider myself an expert in this field by any means. I'm more comfortable in the science fiction realm. Because I'm still just very much learning about film noir. There was a lot of aspects of this film that just screamed film noir, and it was really, really cool. I think they did a really good job executing it. A lot of like the cinematography, the different shots and angles, the playing with light is like a huge theme in film noir, and in the noir genre, like even in the literature. The Oh my god, when everything was raining, like it was constantly raining, there was constantly water on the ground. That's another like huge symbol for film noir genre. Like it's another like iconic aspect of the genre, which I thought was really cool. Just in general, I really enjoyed the tone of it and the colors. And then especially the way like they played with his face too, like the way they framed his face, the way they interesting, like his makeup, when he would take off his cowl, he still had the eye makeup underneath, which I thought was really cool because like we never see that. He has makeup on underneath his cowl in all the other movies, but then when he takes it off, magically his face is clean. And so I thought that was a really cool detail. But then I also thought, in terms of the film noir lens, that it's really common in the films to play with light and focusing over eyes and like faces and stuff, by casting shadows around them and making the center of their faces the brightest spot. And so I thought like it was an interesting choice to leave the makeup on, and it was kind of like a reverse, like you focus on the eyes because they're dark. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. I'm glad you got to say your piece
Yeah,
and,
I have to say my
and
piece.
talk about it. Yeah, okay. I think we're gonna call it. Well, I wonder if I just give up. If can I transfer the rights to you? Like no.
I don't know.
I don't think I can with StreamYard. It doesn't work like that, I think.
Mm.
I can try to leave the okay. So what we can do, guys, I'm not staying awake. What we can do, guys, is here's the thing. I can leave it to her and see if it works, but I don't know if it will work. That's the thing, guys. So
I'm not sure because like I'm not logged in, first off.
you're not logged in.
No.
It may not be, you know what? It may not give you the permissions. Nah, let's just
I don't think it will.
yeah. You guys can just join Marta on one of her streams or something like that. If she
Yeah,
wants
I'm streaming tomorrow. Horizon Zero Dawn, if anyone
There you
wants
go.
to come by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's me. I've played Horizon Zero Dawn up until a point, and then I lost all my game data, which was super lovely. So I love the game so much. I'm replaying the entire thing. And so tomorrow we're gonna hit up some cauldrons, and I'm doing Hunter's Lodge quest. So
All right, and guys, stay tuned later. Maybe later today. I might stream again from the Love Hotel. We're doing a photo shoot today. It happens in a
Ooh.
few hours.
Oh,
So
today?
yeah,
Ooh,
it's finally today. It's gonna happen. I got the chocolate ready. I got my
snap.
Willy Wonka hat ready. It'll
Oh
be
my
fun.
God,
Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
It'll be more engaging and entertaining than the Batman. Yeah. So
Oh my God, that's so cool.
yeah.
I'm so glad.
So you guys keep an eye out on my Twitch stream because I might stream for you guys. But it's going to be covered under body art, but I think we'll have some model and we'll be decorating her and all that. So yeah.
Ooh.
All right, guys, I got to get on out of here. Thank you, Marta, for coming in
Yeah,
last minute.
sorry for the late.
It's all
jump
good.
in.
It's all good. You guys, love, peace, chicken grease. You will see some videos, more Batman videos from me and a special guest in the Batman community. Either tonight or tomorrow when that goes up, and then meet you at the 44 below. Right. I got you. Love, peace, chicken grease, y'all. We'll talk to you later. Later, everybody. Bye. Peace.
Oh.
Batman out.